teams will be punching their ticket to Valorant Masters Shanghai. VCT Pacific Stage 2 has the same format as Stage 1, but this time the Alpha teams will compete against each other in their own group. Same goes for the Omega teams. The top 6 teams with the best performance over the course of Stage 1 and Stage 2 will make it through to the VCT Pacific Stage 2 playoffs. The top 3 teams in playoffs and the 1 team with the highest championship points will earn their ticket to Valorant Champions. Championship points are a fresh addition to the VCT ecosystem in 2024. Teams will earn championship points to qualify for Valorant Champions at the end of the year. Teams earn 1 point whenever they win a match during Stage 1 and Stage 2. And they earn 3 points if they win Kickoff for Stage 1. Teams will also earn 3 points whenever they win a Masters event. The goal, ultimately, is to reward teams who have been the most consistent throughout the year. Only the best of the best will come out on top. The tide is rising and teams will collide and define their destiny in Valorant Champions Tour Pacific 2024. We'll see you all in Seoul, South Korea.
무대의 열기가 느껴지는 만큼 많은 팬분들이 함께 즐겨주고 계신데요. 그 와중에 정말 귀여운 팬분과 함께 이야기를 나눠보려고 합니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
Very happy to meet you here. Can you tell me about yourself, your name, and shortly?
저는 그 신림에 살고 있는 이수정이라고 합니다.
Oh, her name is Lee Soo-jung. Okay, and I really want to ask you, which team are you here for? 어느 팀 응원하러 오신 건가요?
저는 언제나 DRX 응원하고 있습니다.
Yes. She is for DRX. And DRX, which player? 어떤 선수를 응원하러 오신 건가요?
저는 그 겨울잠에서 깨어난 짐승택 선수 꼭 보고 싶습니다.
네, 그냥 스택 선수도 아니고 짐승택 선수. Yeah, she's here for stacks definitely. And I want to ask her if she has any messages to send to the player. 그러면 스택 선수한테 한번 메시지 남겨주시면은 스택 선수에게 큰 응원이 될 것 같은데요.
이제 날도 따뜻하게 풀렸는데 겨울잠에서 깨어나셨으면 좋겠습니다.
Yes, it's become warmer. Hope you wake up from the winter sleep you've been taking. 인터뷰 감사합니다. Thank you for the interview. And now, not even in the venue, I heard there's some noise outside somewhere. Let's have a look at the viewing party. Yes, and not even here in the venue. Oh, let's say hi to DRX fans. DRX viewing party happening in Seoul, South Korea. Make some noise. DRX, we have another fan waiting. DFM, Tokyo, Japan. Hello, everyone. Maybe they can't hear my voice.
Hey, என்னடா ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்கடா.
But I can truly
என்னடா ஆஃப் பண்றீங்க? இன்னும் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணாம.
And so many fans.
4:30 மணிக்கு சொன்னீங்கடா.
So now, shall we go to meet the players?
இப்பதான் பிளேயரை மீட் பண்ண போய் எப்பதான் இவங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுவாங்கன்னு தெரியலையே. மேட்சை ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்கடா. ஏதோ டெக்னிக்கல் இஷ்யூ ஆயிடுச்சு போல இருக்கு, அதனால இவங்க டிலே பண்றாங்க. மேட்சை ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்கடா. அப்போ
to reclaim the throne, it is DRX.
DRX. Guys, DRS ஃபுல்லாவே லைக் சவுத் கொரியா. DFM வந்து 4 பேர் வந்துட்டு ஜப்பான், ஒருத்தர் மட்டும் சவுத் கொரியா. ஓகேங்களா?
And looking to make the greatest comeback, it is Detonation FocusMe.
இது நேம் நல்லா இருக்குல்ல? Detonation FocusMe. Detonation DFM. இதுல 4 பேர் ஜப்பான், ஒருத்தர் சவுத் கொரியா. இதுல யார் தெரியுமா சவுத் கொரியா? இந்த செகண்ட் இருக்கிறாரு மெடுசா, அவர் மட்டும் தான் சவுத் கொரியா, மீதி எல்லாருமே ஜப்பான். ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க. பயங்கரமா இருக்கு போது ஃபைனல்ஸ். கைஸ் புதுசா பாருங்கன்னா சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணீங்க, வீட்டில் லிங்க் பண்ணுங்க கைஸ். கண்டிப்பா டெக்னிக்கல் இஷ்யூலாம் நிறையவே வரும். நம்ம விளையாடும் போதே நிறைய வருது. இது கண்டிப்பா எக்கச்சக்கமா நெட்வொர்க் இஷ்யூ வரும், ஹார்ட்வேர் ப்ராப்ளம் வரும், நிறைய வரும் ப்ரோ. வராம இருக்காது. ஆனா எல்லாத்துக்கும் they would be ready. அதை ரிசால்வ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு பெரிய டீமே இருக்கும். இது இப்போ வந்துட்டு இவங்களுக்குன்னு தனியாக ஹோஸ்ட் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க, கண்டிப்பாக ஹோஸ்ட் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க. ஹோஸ்ட் பண்ணதுனால தான் அந்த மாதிரி விளையாட முடியும். கஷ்டமாக ஹோஸ்ட் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க. அந்த சர்வர் வந்துட்டு பக்கத்துலேயே இருக்கும், ரொம்ப டிஸ்டன்ஸ்லாம் இருக்காது. அந்த இங்கேயே இருக்கும் அந்த ஹோஸ்ட் பண்ண சர்வர், அதுலேயே விளையாடுவாங்க இந்த டோர்னமெண்ட். ஓகே, ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. மேப் செலக்ட் பண்ண போறாங்க. சூப்பர்.
Is DRX gonna reign supreme? DFM gonna have the greatest upset of all Pacific.
என்ன மேப் சூஸ் பண்ண போறாங்க?
We'll have to see what the maps look like to maybe get a better idea of what the story is going to be going to this one. Obviously, Termi and Glow here set up ready to do the draft alongside DFM. We got Anthem out here as well.
இப்போதான் என்னடா ஆஸ்ட்ரேலியா இதெல்லாம்
Give their input.
எல்லாருக்கும் போற முடியுதா சிவங்களுக்கு?
I mean, as I mentioned, that ice box, something that they probably are going to be a bit concerned about, and it will be taken away. I mean, this even with the changes coming through.
Yeah, இந்த ஐஸ் பாக்ஸ் யாருமே விளையாட மாட்டறாங்கன்னு தெரியல. கொஞ்சம் கடியா இருக்கு வந்து.
They could actually even bring out the breeze pretty early, because I was about to just say that DRX, if you look at all of the maps that they've played, whether it's in rotation, out of rotation, they always have such a
எல்லாமே ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி தான் கைஸ். இதுல நமக்கு டீம் இருந்துச்சுனா கண்டிப்பா நம்மளும் பயங்கரமா விளையாடலாம். எய்ம் ஷூட் தான் முக்கியம்.
But this is not one.
DRX வந்து அத பிக் பண்ணிருக்காங்க லோட்டஸ்.
This is not a map that they have that much experience. So, I mean, obviously Anthem, he has had plenty of performances on this map throughout just the last season on DFM, and he even did have an ace on this very map, but this is a very bold choice. I mean, DRX, they certainly had their issues with this map during VCT Pacific. We saw them suffering, and when they finally did come out, you think back to the playoffs, it was pretty catastrophic, but they absolutely got things together on that map as they went into Champions, because, I mean, that's where they had the 210 comeback versus Billy. DRX, though, going back to similar old comfort, actually, here, though, given that Icebox is banned, Haven's out of the pool, they're going to go to Breeze now that's opened up again.
It does feel like this is just the lesser of two evils.
The split ban, I mean, it makes sense. That would be another big comfort. I mean, there's very few maps that aren't comfortable, honestly, for the side of TRX. As you said, the statistics that just always look very good for them. And really trying to pin down what is going to be the biggest weakness to try to exploit can be difficult, but it feels like aside from the Lotus pick, they've done a pretty good job, but Lotus has me a bit concerned, honestly, for DFM.
I mean, that leaves Spine to the decider. How are you guys feeling about three mapper to end the day?
I don't know that I'm feeling it. Unless DFM truly does have something completely game-changing and unexpected here on the side of Lotus. I feel like DRX are walking away from this draft in a really positive position, because Bind as well, I mean, you think about how strong they are on that map, they're dismantling a Fnatic. That is a map that, these are all three maps that they are incredibly well-versed on. So DFM, I'm hoping that they have something up their sleeve that they can surprise us with. That chamber certainly is something that could come into play here as we get ready to shift over to Lotus. Maybe they're going to take a leaf out of, Excurate's book here and try to pilot that to success. But either way, even if they do that, it has to have a high impact.
Yeah, I mean, for you, Asterai, like we're talking, agent comps are ready to go.
Ooh, fade.
It's just going to be a mirror.
Character choice பண்ணிட்டாங்க. ஓமன், கில்ஜாய், ஃபேட், வைப்பர், ரேஸ், DRX.
Yeah, this isn't anything.
DFM வந்து எல்லா வைப்பர் இருக்காங்க. வைப்பர், கில்ஜாய்,
we've seen this on
ஸ்கை, ரேஸ், ஓமன்.
இந்த
சைடு வந்துட்டு ஃபேட், இந்த சைடு வந்துட்டு ஸ்கை. இதுதான் டிஃபரண்ட்.
but it's not as clear cut as, like, let's say a dismiss or a tailwind to get out of harm's way. So DFM really has to solidify May, because that's the one player that DRX pointed out with the just talking about that they really wanted or were very much aware of. So
start பண்ணுங்கப்பா.
Foxy9 who's going to be running that Viper. It is not
DFM.
Good point. Let's jump straight into the game. We're really excited for this first map, Lotus. Over to you, casters.
Our last match of the day. Thank you very much, Chubby Ninja, Asterai, and Achilles. They are absolutely right. There are some interesting roles being played for DRX right now.
Yeah, the Foxy9 on Viper is a little surprising, but I guess someone had to really be that trustworthy anchor and potential lurk on that Killjoy. So flashback being given the position for that set.
Killjoy ஏனா டிஃபென்ஸ்க்கு நல்லா அது நல்லா விளையாட கத்துக்கணும் டிஃபென்ஸ் பயங்கரமா பண்ணலாம் அதான் ட்ரை பண்ணுவேன்
even despite the results not necessarily pointing that way last year in Pacific.
Sentinel
see the big difference, the only difference, the Sky versus the
started
on the other side, but of course
DFM na spike plan பண்ணோம்
the bat in the early part of the round for DFM.
Very ABC site, mono site.
And I think about just committing into the B site. Already diving in is going to be May with that frenzy, but look at the movement from Stax. Although it is a Stax is still here and still has that movement, still has that ability to trickle backwards. 2 kills and then flashback comes in, although Cess is able to find a bit of a double.
Yeah, also interesting to me that Cess is playing that Omen, still going for the double controller. I mean, he's bounced
3 versus 1
different agents and the small pool of matches he has played, but generally seeming to lean more towards that initiator. We'll see what they have planned, but for now, Medusa, you got to win so many duels in a row.
Yeah, not gonna happen today. I mean, it's not easy at the very least, and especially not Sheriff, but still, this is just DFM, and we can see that the entire game plan in that pistol, although it is just a pistol, they just dove right into the site.
Yeah, now, picking this Lotus against DRX likes to play pretty default heavy on any map, so I'm not too surprised by it. I mean, we saw how their Haven eventually got dismantled as well, especially, yeah, you love to see that, but especially as if you're on the attacking side, just really force the issue on one part of the map, make sure that you're winning by numbers, so I get the idea. The pistol they chose B wasn't quite the one. It's also a hard one to kind of keep hold of in the post plan with those pistols unless you get that first kill.
That's exactly why. I mean, I'm kind of like wondering what the
DFM
and although it is just a pistol and it is the DRX that goes default heavy, committing without much information is I'm not sure if that's how they want to start things out, but at least right now with nothing but classics, they will be able to look towards gaining as much information as they can. So both nanoswarms popped off. They know there is a bit of a killjoy setup.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about in a round like this, especially when they go for the full save, but the fact that, first of all, obviously still trying to take advantage of the map itself, going for that easy ult doorbell mound, and then checking for the setup on B. They note that the nanoswarms are there. I mean, they're doing what they can, and to me, the biggest thing is similar to Gen G, I've heard rumblings that this DFM squad is looking fantastic. So once they're able to pick up rifles, we'll see how that goes, because this round, not much to do.
Rotate
with that bulldog on the other hand. And a simple cleanup.
DRX.
The crowd loves this.
I mean, the Korean crowd, they've been waiting to be able to kind of cheer enthusiastically for DRX with a new roster. I mean, it used to be, you kind of need the excitement was there. But then once the excitement did arrive, it didn't last long before they were dethroned. And then the representatives of Pacific, the hope of Pacific, became Paper Rex instantly on a dime. And DRX struggling to kind of find that magic that they once had. And the players, the coaching staff, some of the fans, some of potential scrim partners are all saying Flashback might be that guy that brings that extra touch to the Korean squad.
We shall see, especially in the next coming days, if he's exactly what they needed. But here it is right now, starting things off. Voxy9 still rather proven talent, still has that aim. Just wondering if we can trust our dogs or puppies to really go amok and just run wild and free and really do what they're best at. Meanwhile, apart from that right now, it's just still back to that default, juggling for info. Buzz trying to play around it. However, blinded, did not see May on the other side. May comes in and eliminates both Mako and Buzz.
So good, but you gotta remember this box is here, the potential.
Did he see?
There's more members. I think that angle is just tough.
Wow.
To spot. I don't think it would have even shown up on the minimap either. So they're gonna make it in safely. Still some damage potential.
Plan பண்றாங்க.
Shows the elbow right through the box.
பரவாயில்லை.
Shot from Stax. Now Prowler in just
செமையா அடிச்சாரு Stax. பயங்கரம். போடு முடிஞ்சு. டேய் 1 versus 1.
First
1
thing,
versus
it's a
1.
one-on-one for Stacks.
அது இழுத்துரும்.
And he knows exactly where Cess is at this point. Goes in. It's pretty much a heads-up duel at this point.
வேற ஐயோ
Sneaks out though, the Vandal with full auto. Simply forces Stacks down a little bit
DFM
more
1
easy
DRX 3
for DFM to pick that up.
Yeah, a rough round. I mean,
இவ்ளோ கிட்ட விளையாடுறாங்க கண்ணு
but in that last
glass
1v1,
இல்லாம
Cess plays that very well, right? Puts up the smoke, shoots out the Hunt, and immediately positions just right around the cusp of that smoke. So hard for Stacks to get the first peek. Good crafty 1v1 from Cess. A great showing in this first match for him and the rest of the squad in VCT Pacific.
Just trying to keep things up, trying to keep things alive. 2-1 is a pretty good start. We shall see how they can continue forward. So far, Cess has been that person up around DFM, but of course we're watching up some of these other players as well. How do they support and set up May, who is now hitting the showstopper. Spots out the head, able to get the splash damage kill on towards Foxy9. So that might just open up the site, but right around the corners, you've got Stacks, you've got Flashback.
Oh, that boom bot. I thought it wasn't going to spot him, and that would have been danger. But Buzz gets 1 kill to open things up, even things out 4-4.
Wow.
What a way to shoot through the smokes. Cess on the other hand, though, playing off the off angle. Buzz now with the showstopper, gets himself alive to go up onto the platform. Stays alive, and that's the most important thing. Pink Shell's committed as well. Gives a little bit more space for Stacks and Mako to come back.
முடிச்சிட்டாங்க
A couple crispy shots on the side of DFM.
Hey.
So, honestly,
correct.
already, I think there's a lot more hope for this squad. They could be competitive. However, Buzz just comes in firing. Foxy9, I mean, curious to see what the comms were, if we'll ever find out, because ultimates were coming online for DFM. Tried to stay in the site, drag things out just a bit longer. Got taken out by the showstopper, but just a good peek out by Buzz. And the fact that he's just able to stay alive long enough brings Mako into the site.
Still can rely on these two to definitely clean things up. But other than that, the showstoppers into this map, definitely a bit of a game changer. And it helps DRX on the retake in the long run. Off to the next round now. DFM economy not so great, just a bit of a judge. I don't know how much that can really do though, unless you're able to find that pick. And given the positioning from DRX right now, it's not going to be the easiest task. Right into the nanoswarms, and Stacks still hovering around the corners. Look at how quick the response is, Will. Oh my goodness.
I have bought enough time for the backup to arrive over from A-Link.
Sure,
you deny the plant, and they had already pushed them out of Link, so that was still technically DRX's control. Awareness to get 1 more kill.
Neth, though, not too shabby. But how long
3 versus 1.
he wants to retrieve the rifle at this point.
போடு
Really
ஐயோ
the wisest
2 versus 1
choice, but wow, okay, it's just a wise
வைப்பர் கண்டி ரெண்டு பேரும் முடிச்சாங்க வேற லெவலா இருக்கும்
drag his mouse down along with that player model. And with that, all right, rifle retrieved. I've done my job. I'm going to hold on to this for the next round.
Actually, அவங்க
DRX. They're watching both flanks. Flashback well aware. So
spike defend பண்ணவே போதும். எங்க இருக்கு B ல இருக்கா?
They can always swing back together. Foxy9 trying to check both angles around him. That allows Flashback just to wait for that crosshair. Gets the headshot.
I thought he was going to save, but he went back into it, and that's
4-1.
Flashback holding the angle. So 4-1 right now. DRX still very much so in the lead. I mean, not too bad of a round for DFM, would you say? I mean, they just went for it with the judge and, you know, pistols.
I mean, it's 2024. I don't know if we can keep giving these, you know, very, very small pieces of cake on these rounds. I mean, it was never meant to be a good round. That's my point, right? So, I mean, counting your stars a little bit, I'm not sure how far that's going to go, because here's the thing. Because they bought up to the judge, it's still half armor for May as well.
Wow. Yeah, that definitely could be something that bites him in the back, but so far, just got to see some more cleaner executes or ideas from DFM, because right now, although they have, you know, bits of fame, bits of shooting, bits of ideas as well, DRX are still very much controlling the map, the map all around. I mean, look what's happening up around Rubble, especially up around B as well.
They need to win this fight one more time, and in a very explosive manner, because if they are not able to put pressure on the map, this is such an easy defense for DRX, and it's a 3-site map.
Oh yeah. Good flash.
Hey! Vera level.
3 hits, 3 Everybody's down.
வேற
He
level.
answers back with a double of his own, but is that going to be enough, though? He's down to 22. One bullet is all it takes. Foxy claims his head, and that's going to be down to Neth.
Oh, and they know that he hasn't come through. They're all around him.
Just got
team wipe
completely surrounded. It's going to be gloomy clouds for DFM for now, while they try to look for a different idea to break apart this map, because DRX are still just having a good day. Flashback is just chilling on C.
I mean, that's his job, though, and this is the
Actually, நம்மளோட முட்டியை நம்ம வந்து சேர் லெவல்ல வச்சு விளையாடுவோம். அவங்கலாம் அப்படியே
they do choose to pressure early. We have
keep like மொத்த கையுமே
or you will smartly back out and
system மேலே வச்சு விளையாடுறாங்க.
that allows
the table மேலே சொல்றேன்.
also perhaps the very strong duo that has been really showing that hard carry potential for DRX even on the international stages. Buzz and Mako to fight for rubble control. That is not a duo I would ever want to have to combat, to break through on a part of the map. So DFM, they've got their work cut out for them. And I mean, if you're not going to fight for it early, which to be fair, I actually do think the fade gives DRX a bit of an edge in the very start of the round, right? Because there's always that potential of the C's paint shells, and then they're already going to be set up on the cross angles. But some other timing here from DFM, rather than waiting and showing yourselves on other parts of the map. It's either that or a real fast push into C. One or the other needs to happen, but C, it's always going to be potentially the Poison Cloud, potential Nano Swarms, a turret. So I think this Rubble fight, you just have to do it at some point, right? Whether you eventually go into the A site or not, it needs to happen.
We've seen little glimpses before with how they actually managed to break into C, or at least attempted it. They managed to get a spike down for one round. Meanwhile, for A site, you know, they had that round with a great flash from Anthem, setting up May for a couple of kills, especially up against Buzz too. Just that didn't quite happen the second time, because of course Buzz is going to reposition. But as we talk about C, here it comes. Despite this being a bit of an eco round, the Viper's Pit is committed.
I like this from DRX. They used to not do this, right? Oh, okay, you see the shots come in, goes for the spray through the smoke, but I mean, they used to be like, it's an eco, just hold, and sometimes they would get thrifted quite often, especially when they go global. So just saying, lock it down, right? And then put the threat of the potential Killjoy support as well. Keep that lead up. You have so many other ultimates for retakes.
So, like, masterclass of map control. You can see, you can literally draw a line, like a percentage of how much of the map DFM has control. It's like not even 50. It's not even 40%. I would say less.
I mean, it's not even 30.
It's not even 30.
Really think about it, because I mean, let's take away the spawns because you start there.
Sure.
You're not getting behind the barriers right now.
You got maybe pillars, not even. Yeah, just right around mounds. That's about it. Anthem. Up around rubble.
They're going for this with the Omen ultimate.
All right, we walk through. Foxy up around the corners, instantly spotting out the player outlines. Ooh, what a flick. Sess, though, being able to play off of that contact, gets a shot. Anthem with the flicks, a bit of a double, but Stax brings things back.
That fan in the crowd said they wanted B-Stax to wake up from hibernation. It's been some time. But so far, looking good, looking crispy here as the IGL leader for DRX.
Yeah, Stax has claws and knives to boot, but still not too bad with those sheriff shots. Again, it's still not the round win, but so far 6-1. Again, we're talking about that map control, and you mentioned needing to see DFM commit to a site. Maybe now with the full buy, maybe now with the Seekers, they might be able to pull something off. May 1 point away from Alt as well.
Yeah, DFM's idea this whole time is shake up the setups on C and B, try to apply pressure and then go to A, and now GRX, what a round to start pushing out. This momentum change, doesn't matter if they're C, because the wide swing is clean from Buzz.
This is new DRX. Not just a wide swing, you got 2 more players aiding him. Oh, but then Mako suddenly eliminated.
Yeah, not quite ready for some extra trades. I don't mind the extra pressure put on from DRX. That's just a good fire back from DFM. But the point is, they still have no control of rubble.
Yeah, can't quite push out. You've got the toxic screen up towards C, but it's not doing all that much.
Yeah, but they do know now that it should be weaker on the A site, right? Anthem had activated those Seekers, so trying to claw their way back in. 45 seconds on the clock. Still options to rotate out as well. I do like this. From here on out, it's still plenty of time to rotate. You know that they should be spread thin on DRX.
If they can take down Foxy9, that would be it.
30
That's what
seconds
Anthem's calling for. But wow, committing on that Nightfall, and it's so much information for Stacks. Showstopper doesn't quite connect, although there's a good bit of damage. Seth goes down, Anthem trades it back up. You got 15 seconds left to secure the spike plant. Can they make it happen? Finally picking it up now. And we're gonna go for it in the corner. Anthem watching the back.
Buzz has Showstopper. Oh. Flashback just trying to get information, but he knows that there are members in the site.
Good shot up on that corner, too.
Oh, Medusa!
Oh, no! Shot out midair. That Showstopper's gone. Stacks is the only one here, and he has to push up front. Goes in for the burst of the lockdown, and that is when Anthem strikes.
Oof. Risky, but good post plant from DFM. Flashback, I was going to say, I wonder if Flashback pushes in or not, because there's two ways to play that. Either you swing out at the same time with the Showstopper, or you're trying to get that information right as he arrives. So Flashback peeks out. He secures that there's members in the corner, but they weren't aware of how many were going to be out by Mound as well. Just a great save from Medusa.
Yes.
To keep his teammates alive.
That was the main thing.
Yeah, denying that rocket, keeping up the lockdown as well. A little quiet in the beginning of the map, but putting his name back on the board.
Yeah, if that nuke went off, it might have been a different story, but still. Well played by Medusa nonetheless. And we go back towards the DFM, trying to blind commit in towards B off of the eco that DRX has. They managed to gun down Stacks. Nanostorm Bird's alive, and Mate just flicks back on a dime. Gets another shot. Buzz and Mako trade back through, though. And here comes Neth. They want to secure the angles. They want to get the spike down, and all that's left is going to be Mako, who peeks out into multiple targets. DFM claims a third round against DRX.
An eco round from DRX, but uncharacteristically taking 1v1 duels just one by one. So I am curious if, I mean, the new DRX, is it a change in the tempo as well for potential timeouts, just to say, listen, like, I know it was an eco, just cool things down a little bit, because this is exactly what DFM was looking for in this round. Go in with the better firepower. And Medusa talks about it in the Emerge video. He likes him as an entry. He's going in and getting those opening frags. And so far, when he is set up, like the Death said, May will make that happen.
It's looking to make it happen again. Oh, okay, a little bit of a fake around the door.
Yeah, but DRX already has control of C Mound. They're already in the spawn. They know it's an A hit.
Good timing on that peak, too, from Stacks. However, great trades coming out from Anthem, but what is this? Buzz almost with the spray transfer. Neth trying to trade things back for his team. Mako wrapping up around from behind along with Flashback. They've got that Killjoy lockdown, so DFM has to be very careful. They are thinking about rotating off to the other side, but now caught in no man's land.
Here's the thing, Neth, if he does put that pit up, he knows the lockdown is going to happen. So he just wishes he could get one kill. It doesn't matter if it's a Killjoy omen, but at least if you make it a 1v1, you can play for a timing around those ultimates. But DRX, not one to overextend at a time like this. Mako going for, he saw the barrel, and Mako will not miss the shot.
1 pixel, that's all it takes. And this gentle guy just keeps smiling like that. In game, it's so different, but in real life, you just love the guy.
I mean, he is just a cozy teddy bear on stage.
Right?
But then in the server, I mean, cold as ice. That's the thing, right? He's not the fanciest player, but he is just tunneled in on the mission.
그래. 난 콜 때문에 말린 거라니까.
What did he say? He said something. He said no. I was in a slump because of something else.
Okay.
Because obviously not too many kills so far here.
Right. Well, maybe he's got a couple more kills coming his way now. Up around the C site. Shrouded Step placed back in. DFM trying to hold off a bit of a default, anticipating some pushes. They just don't have that information. They can't quite commit. Maybe B side again, but the setup is different from DRX this time.
DRX has been playing with the tempo quite flexibly, right? A lot of rubble pressure the early part of this map, and now a couple fast pushes, and then the default that they so love. A 2-2-1, mind you.
எல்லாருமே C தான் புஷ்
Especially
பண்றாங்க.
because of the focus on B side from DFM.
D ல ரெண்டு பேரு, A ல ஒரே ஒரு ஆளு, இதெல்லாம் C தான்.
Dark cover says a lot.
அப்பா உள்ள வந்துட்டாங்க.
Flash past it, pop through. Mako able to hold the off angle for a trade. Foxy 9 coming right back in, but
3 versus 3.
against his counterpart. Here comes
Oh.
Mako. Great shots to start things off, but then me. What a quick movement up on top of the platform. He guns down Stacks. This is now a 1-on-2.
Plan பண்ண சைடு வந்துட்டு ரெண்டு பேரு.
Has got a
இந்த
bit
சைடு
of
வந்து
utility.
ரேஸ்
Make it
இப்பதான்.
happen, though.
The way Maze
So
looking,
let's
if
see
Maze
where
is
the
able
other
to
one
get
is.
the kill and DFM gets the round win, they could go all the way up to
left.
5
மேல. போடு.
Not quite.
Well, he'll get the showstopper. Now it's up to Anthem.
Just trying to watch the angles.
Oh.
Bit of a
Play for
silent
time.
movement out around. Time is still ticking. Pink Shell's committed, but Anthem stays tucked away. Boombot confirms position, but Buzz has to push in. Oh, and with the map changes, it's just all too much. He has to commit, and it's an easy strafe shot for Anthem to collect the 4th round.
In some weird way, it actually works out even better. You get the showstopper and the Seekers online. One through the death, one through the kill, and another round win. That 5th round win could come through, and at that point, it's already looking tighter than most people expected. But I would say DFM looking hopeful. And one thing I want to point out is they're actually not relying too much on Medusa having to lurk and get kills. That was one of the things that used to bite the old Crazy Raccoon in the back, is that things they wouldn't know how to go through it and be like, Medusa, go kill. If you do, we'll rotate. That's not always going to be their answers here on DFM.
Maybe just a bit more of a flank guard, but still, I mean, Anthem as the mainstay, as the calls come through, it just works so well. They've got 4 ultimates now for this round, DFM. They might just be able to end things in the first half with a 7-5, and that would be pretty good.
Of course, some big ones on DRX, so it is a mind game of how do you bait out each other first. Seekers just to break it open. DFM just wants to get into the site. They'll worry about the counter ults later.
Wow. Oh, well, there is a counter out coming out from Buzz right now, though. Both spent. Doesn't quite find all too much, but it's just, I don't know, warning shots, explosive radiuses just right around this A rubble area.
But right as we had talked about Medusa now, Medusa's in position to go for the flank if they're able to get into the site, but a judge?
Oh no.
That's not what they want to deal with!
It's out of ammo. A shorty will seal the deal.
Camper.
And now it's up to Stacks. Teammates rotated over as well. Flashback.
Actually, the boom bot வந்துட்டு எங்க இருக்கான்னு direct
Do
பண்ணி.
you have the angle? That's the thing. Neth tries to hop up quick, tries to go for the Viper's pit, but the Haunt just buys his time away. Not to mention the lockdown too, and look at how they relay backwards. Foxy 9 ready to pick them off. Still though, B-side has been
Plan
made.
பண்ணியாச்சு.
Yeah, and Medusa already shook up the backside as well. Now the pit up, looking like a tough retake. They know they
எல்லாருமே
want
B
to
தான்.
get really kills through the pit, but DFM's just not giving the angles away.
It's not bad ult usage, but still DRX 1 point away for each of Stacks or Foxy 9's ultimate. As soon as they maybe spray through and get the single one, but look at the angle. Success with the shorty. Second shot fired through. Does tag Mako up to really low. Allows for Neth to spray through, and as Stacks just decides to
DFM.
go over to the next round. 7-5 he tries, but that's, wow, a DFM coming up huge in this first half.
7-5 is honestly a pretty solid scoreline, especially considering that switching out the Sky for the Fade here for DRX, it was meant to take control of Rubble, especially on the defensive side. It's not going to be as easy to try to force that issue unless you're really dumping every piece of utility. And even then, I mean, this time the Sky, you can wait for those counter flashes, right, on the defensive side, and you'll get a wider radius a lot quicker as you creep up to that box. So I think DFM is going to be okay, considering a bit of a rough start that they had losing the pistol.
I'm still just a little bit taken aback, a little bit surprised. The game is evolving. We are feeling some of these changes. You saw that with the layout on C site and how they planted Spike. You saw that with the judge that Buzz was holding and how DFM is able to capitalize off of that. So off of those bits of control, or maybe some of these counter flashes that Sky has, DFM is actually able to come back into the game. As we swap sides though, I mean, what are you thinking, Will?
Well, I mean, again, I think it did take them a bit longer to get a read on, exactly DRX's setups and how they're really spreading across your utility, etc. Sure, DRX's comp was meant to do that. It was meant to win out the Rubble fight and things like that. but surely they should have an answer, because now still the Haunt able to return on a cooldown, obviously not too many times in a round, but DRX could still go in, get info, and then set up for an execute with the Prowler and, of course, the Paranoia. So DFM, what's their answer? Surely they play a bit more aggressively here, pushing out a couple times.
I wonder if that's what that pillar's positioning is all about. But you're absolutely right. That's DRX's game plan. That's our option. Oh, we're actually toxic screens towards A.
Yeah, just crossing across each other. But DFM wanted to kind of go for a fake that they were weak on B, right? They put up the one-way onto C. They show themselves a little bit with the screen on A. And DRX did not bite. So now they're just...
DRX planted.
We just got flashback watching the back with the Sheriff. The rest of them trying to set up for that position. Is this like one of these classic DRX executes?
Well, DRX senses something fishy. It's just too quiet around A.
DRX push பண்றாங்க.
And if it is going to be left empty, they have to watch out for the back, which is flashback not moving at all near A main.
Okay, so that's what flashback is doing. The rest of them have cleared out the entire site. DFM trying to get a read for DRX's executes, and that's why they fall back so far. But a little bit too far. Spike is down. Medusa trying to get the shot onto Buzz. Paint Shells flushes him out of position, and that's going to be the frag. A bit of a reload as Mako finds a trade on towards May. And then the shots go through even further. Here comes Stacks, though, but only for the time being. The rest of them now needing to watch that spike. Out in the open, DFM tries to play around the screens, but how long can they dance back and forth? Not before DRX comes in.
The two youngsters getting a kill each to finish off that pistol round. Both pistols going to DRX. That's one of the reasons, obviously, they stayed in the lead in the first half. And it might be just what they needed to close things out safely on Lotus. I mean, the fact that they were just so insistent on watching the flank, they just knew someone would be in. Now, they probably expected it to be Medusa, because that's usually his role, but this time it was Anthem. They will be rewarded nonetheless for the patience.
Still very much so strong fundamentals, good reads all throughout the game. But what is this from DFM? Pistol round. We're banking on this. Did Foxy9 see something?
I think he saw perhaps one of the jump peaks. Either way, though, you bought up the extra guiding light. You already used it, but no rewards there. So this could very well turn into a round where DFM's going to have to pick and choose between giving away potential kills. Now they're trying to go in on an offbeat. It looks like they're trying to get up close to C and surprise DRX.
Just a wee
hear him. Reload.
Not too much of a surprise anymore, though, as they push through, runs out of ammo. Neth able to secure the kill on towards Mako. Not too bad.
Not planted yet. And the door's pressuring them from behind.
Is that a lot of pressure? I feel like with the rifles, DRX still should be able to shoot them down. Yes, it's a lot of smokes. It's a lot of question marks.
Well,
they should...
Yeah, the tempo's away from them now. I mean, right as Anthem peaks there, they were hoping to get one more kill. Not able to secure it. Flashback.
Wow, that's sharp. That is crisp.
Still
some kills that are good enough to bring them over to the next round.
Now Flashback's looking calm on stage. I mean, he looks like he belongs here.
Not that much of a rookie. From the academy, but...
Well, no, I mean, he's absolutely a rookie. The only real experience he has is the couple matches that he played during this offseason, but he looks like he was always ready to play on the main stage.
And that's what I mean. Oh, there might be a bit of an issue as we go in for a tech pause for the time being.
Don't sound so disappointed. It's a friendly face. Hopefully not too long of one here. Thank you so much, of course, for everyone who has been waiting around. I think everyone right now, all around us, obviously, lots of fans who have been waiting for the DRX opening match of VCT Kickoff here in Korea. Everyone just hoping to get right back into the game. And, I mean, DFM, the unfortunate story is the bar was set very low for this team, right? Let's not beat around the bush. The bar was set very low. Obviously, very much new faces, 4 of them, all coming over from the old core Crazy Raccoon roster, only Anthem remaining as the IGL. But some things that, you know, a couple of the fans who have been following Challengers Japan, or I would assume actually a lot of the fans in Japan as well, were, okay, well, you know, this team looked like they had some individual potential. The question was who's doing the calling? And that's calling often left something to be desired, and then Anthem's now the one calling. Off of his experience trying to lead a team in VCT Pacific 2023, he wants to come in with a motivated new roster with some very good individual talent like May, who's already shown good highlights, going in, getting double entry frags, trying to prove a point. It's not bad because you started at such a low point, but surely these players want so much more out of this match from DRX.
Am I getting the sense that, you know, are you disappointed with the performance so far from DRX? Or
I'm not saying it's disappointing, but I'm just saying that it wasn't hard to impress anybody when it comes to DFM's history. And the thing is anyone who was hyping them up saying, well, yeah, but they've got potential. I hear they're doing well in scrims, etc. All of those things pointed to them being much more explosive. Now, again, yes, Lotus and then the map, the comps, DRX came in prepared for the defensive side. The rubble fights were good. But, I mean, I think part of it was just getting the fast reads, right? And then trying to make sure that if you are messing up the setups on B and C, you go in on a timing, you kind of take that risk at some point. If you're on the attack, you need to be the one who's taking initiative. So the big question is now on defense, are they able to pressure DRX into the same mistakes?
so in terms of the strats and the calling, sometimes without information, without that additional guesswork to really push in through a site, sometimes it leaves DFM a little bit lacking. But of course, you know, we're expecting the win result from DRX. I mean, we're talking about literal champions, or, you know, ex-champions versus...
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's been a while since I've seen DRX lift up a trophy, so...
I mean, throughout the league last year, 2023 versus DFM score, is this the scoreline that we're looking at? Is a 9-5, yes, it's not the most impressive thing, but it is still a bit of an improvement. How much does it say? DFM right now with the full binds, they are going in for that hold.
Another retake setup for A for DFM.
3-1-1 though, huh?
Yeah, they're gonna back out. I mean, you already see Net going all the way up deep into the backside of Heaven, so they are giving this up. Even potentially B site. So because of that, they want to up the tempo, pushing out of Mound, but Flashback has now dug into B main.
And Mako holds on to his dark coverage just for this too, but he's kind of lost the timing a little bit. Can't quite peek out of the top Heaven for now. But look at what's happening on the mini-map.
The turret not facing them just yet, but they will have to cross that line at some point. They're hoping that he peeks out on a timer, but no need. Good faith in that turret coming out from Flashback.
All right. Flash definitely gives it off. Flashback spots the barrel, able to get the first shot, goes in for a second, but double dipping, he gets punished. DFM now with the retake, setting up through. It's gonna be Cess who takes down Mako. Buzz now trying to hold from right underneath. Good support from Foxy, and they managed to fend them off. It's just enough utility, buying enough time. While DFM continues to try to push up. They're slowly starting to burn through the timer though. Anthem just sticking up to it. Is it enough? It looks like it, as DFM picks up the 6th win up against DRX.
A good retake from DFM. Once they realized that they would have to go through the turret, I was afraid that they would wait so long because Foxy9 was actually getting ready to lurk all the way around stairs, wrapping around to defender spawn. But once they realized, okay, we can't wait on this any longer, they just go in with the pop flash. The guiding light popping right around the corner allows them to get the first kill, and then it's just trades chain through. Sure, decent support from Foxy9. But, you know, DFM, they upped that tempo on that retake. They started on the right timing, now trying to catch up.
Sometimes feels like flashes are still just so valuable. I mean, still so effective, even with the changes, the fact that it doesn't refresh. In a combat situation like that, you know, Stack's completely blinded.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, once you send it out, the value is still strong, but you just can't
Send it
spam
out too
it
often.
nonstop and absolutely pressure one part of the map.
Which is why I won't really fault Anthem's agent choice too much.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, which is why I don't play Sky anymore. Because to be honest, that's why I don't play it
Never
anymore.
played Sky in my life.
Wow.
You know me, I'm more controller guy. Anyway, DRX still taking things slow. And DFM not really getting too much information off of it apart from the utility. So as soon as the door is broken through, it's a bit of that B pinch. Buzz trying to break in. Oh! But the shot on step just lines up perfectly with Buzz's crosshair. Here comes the paint shells to block them off. The spike plant is secured.
That's unfortunate. I mean, says he was just a sacrifice here to a well-timed attack from DRX.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, gets hit by the paranoia, and at that point, you're just hoping that the shadow step lands and saves you, but Buzz waits for it and shoots right through.
And as soon as the retake comes up, I mean, you can bank on those flashes, but if they don't quite land, if DRX are playing anti-flash, yeah, just running out of time at that point, can't quite secure the kills, can't quite get a bit more space into its sights, so retake's impossible at this point. And it's just another one of these rounds with DRX getting in position, setting up for that classic sight hit.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're going to try opening the store. No, they're not, because obviously not great on the creds for DRX either. I mean, they'll be fine, obviously, especially winning the round, but not enough to greet just yet. Now, DFM running out of credits to spend. They'll have to carry over these two rifles.
And that's where you start thinking about your life on the map. DRX still looking pretty decisive in some of these rounds.
Guardian, Vandal, Phantom. Classics for the rest. Okay, I mean, a Frenzy upgrade, sure, but no armor for Neth either.
Huh. Well, they are trying to hold more forward positions. Anthem jiggling up around pillars.
Yeah, this is a setup for Anthem, right? The paranoia.
Ooh.
Yeah, he wanted to set up kills for the Vandal, but already knowing that the Vandal is there is not what DFM wanted.
Just feels risky. At least with the utility towards Rubble, it holds off DRX for a second, long enough for me to get in the position up and on an off angle. But as soon as this curtain drops, though, Foxy9, he's got an idea of his own.
Yeah, but this one way helps. He knows it can't be an easy cross angle. So he's lined up for just the one kill. Good setup and good support from Neth. He even gets the Vandal and gets out for free. DRX just says, okay, if that's the setup, we want to rush and get the plant onto the other side of the map.
They're rushing over just as quick as Foxy9 drops. But guess what? Up around the doors, DFM presses that button. That flash comes out. They might be able to break them apart. Buzz, though, guns them down for a little bit. But it's a classic that ends his life. Suddenly, it's going to be flashback cut into 1-on-2.
Never a better time than to prove the hype was correct. Termi says with time he thinks Flashback can become the greatest player in Korea. Knows at least one coming from Waterfall.
Paranoia calls it true. Gets the first shot. A bit of a swing from Neth. Ooh! Back and forth, and it just throws Flashback off for a little bit. In for a loop, it's going to be DFM picking up that 7th win.
Yeah, Neth with a little nod to Coach Termi, saying, you're right, he does need a little bit more time. Wins out that 1v1 duel. This was good. I mean, Foxy9 just kind of had to commit to the bit there, but the one-way setup, starting it after the toxic screen. You can tell that, I mean, they're happy, but obviously it was a little bit of a nail biter, says. Bit of a nervous laughter there.
For both sides. But still, I mean, DRX in the lead right now. Economy slowly starting to run dry. A bit of a heavy investment for May on that operator.
It's going to be a fast hit. We've got the showstopper available as well.
Okay, we're not seeing anything outside B for DFM. DRX making their presence known outside the A site.
Waiting for the push out from B. DRX still leaving their options open. They've had a couple of successes pinching onto B site.
Okay, wait for the dark cover. Is that the game plan? And then just commit towards, wow.
It's a 2v1 on main though.
Flashback, do you have what it takes? Oh, shoulders exposed. That's all Seth needs. May now with a shot at the buzz. Stacks, though, not refusing to back down. By his lonesome, takes down 2. With the spike down now and a bit more information. He's got the C's. He's trying to keep them away. Lockdown committed. Oh, and then Foxy9 shot out from the back. It's going to be Stacks trying to bury his fangs and slash his claws, but still Neth just makes them blunt for the time being. Mako,
the timing! And you know what the worst part is this has happened to Mako before! Oh my goodness. The thing is,
feels bad, man.
He had to go in like on a split second that the lockdown ends.
True.
Yeah, you just gotta laugh it off. What can you do?
He's smiling at that one. You know, it's.
Well, Stacks. I think Stacks was kind of laughing into their comms just to loosen things up.
Yes.
I mean, it happens because otherwise you're giving away the half so much for free. It's still a 2v1.
Well, and you never want to play that flame game either. Not on a stage like this.
You can hear Seth still like, oh, okay. Only waltzes in.
All right, May still on that operator. Prowler gives out the info. Oh, what a tap from Buzz.
I think Buzz might have spotted on that jump off of the box earlier too, so he was ready for it.
And off of it, the showstopper now onto the top of the platform. We can push in deeper. Seekers gives us the info that DFM is trying to flank up a little bit. So DRX should be set for this retake.
That's done.
Simple frag for flashback. Now long range duels, and he is online. Looks out for the third. It's going to be Mako that seals that deal. And then Sis.
A Mako operator kill. A rare find. But a clean one.
Yeah, well, I'll put that nice one into my little collection of kills.
It's a good one. Not that we got to see it, but we did see the kill feed. Well, I mean, you gotta save. It's not map point just yet, so carry over whatever you can. It's gonna be a little wonky, but with half armors, they should be able to make something work.
Not the easiest task, and we are nearing map point after all. But that said, I mean, so far, just some decent, fun Valorant being played on stage. You got DFM showing some, little improvements here and there. Nice firepower from the new pickups from Crazy Raccoon. But DRX, I mean, this was a map they never wanted to play, not too much. They showed it at AVL a little bit. They showed it here, and it's still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, the first showing, and this, we've talked about this before whenever a new map comes out. Like, DRX likes to hide the new map for as long as possible.
Last match,
here's the wild card, and then it's like, well,
DFM
actually wasn't that good, so we'll come back this time. Then they look good, right? After a whole another split or a whole another tournament, they look good. So that's kind of what happened to Lotus as well.
Papa.
You guys can see what Will looked like next to me. That's the goofiest pose.
Well, that's what it felt like watching DRX trying to hide away this new map as if it was some crazy masterpiece that they had concocted. I mean, it was the same thing with Fracture. For those of you who remember when Fracture was first released, like they were saying like, oh, and they had even told us on the Korean broadcast that, oh, scrims are going well, like our Fracture's gonna be so good. And we're like, all right, and they opened it up against Fnatic, and Durka was just like, haha, double satchel up, and then you guys are all dead. So, I mean, I think they are starting to learn the lesson. Hopefully we don't see the same thing with Sunset. But anyway, been a while since Lotus came out. It's looking good. And now DFM off of a timeout with the half armors. They have mostly rifles, but only a stinger. But if they get the plant, it's the pit for Neth.
That would be lovely. Still, though, DRX, same game plan, making their presence known up around A. Dark cover being propped up. Slight difference this time, though, from DFM and the toxic screen.
DRX here push பண்றாங்க அவங்களே ஏல இருக்காங்க எல்லாரும்
just bypass it through the door.
Neth just going to use it early instead of on the retake. Just wants to scare them away, and that way he can utilize his stinger a little bit better as well.
Not bad. But now that it's committed, I mean, there's an option for DRX just to rotate over.
Yeah, rotate பண்ண மாட்டாங்கன்னு தெரியல.
Yeah, I mean, I have my questions here because so much time was left, and they don't exactly have the greatest tools to go for a retake onto B.
Cess on that from the shadows Omen ult for info.
C la Omen irukkaru.
Early up around mountain, he didn't see anything, so I don't know if he's calling it clear. Still kind of jiggling up around C.
I mean, perhaps it's just some way to try to pressure them into B as they're already set up for it, but DRX isn't taking that bait. The C's should be landing.
Uh-oh. All right, try to step away. This is now a retakes game. Stinger 4 rifles up against a fully equipped DRX. They try to push through. They try to go along Anthem Flash, but Buzz is still just that good. Positioning an elevated angle from Mako as well, though. May makes it a trade, but then here comes Flashback. DRX's teamwork is still just that good.
3 versus 1. முடியாது. Plan பண்ணியாச்சு அவங்க.
You have to. Yeah, I guess
save them on
that point. Already so much time passed as well. And Stack says, come back. Oh, and that's a sure. Nice little conversation between two veterans.
அவ்வளவுதான். 12.
And Flashback says,
DRX தான் ஜெயிக்கும் இந்த match.
We're done. It's map point now.
Nothing flashy, but very reliable from Flashback. Curious to see how he's going to look on other maps. Of course, he's been tasked with kind of anchoring and holding the flank so far, so not too many opportunities to show his stuff either.
Yeah, the first half, just chilling on C.
Yeah, not too many rounds where he actually even got a taste of the action. But it seemed like that retake, part of it was the map changes a bit, right? The boxes had the extended length of it. I missed that, sorry, kind of spoke over it. Gotta remember that Buzz is a very talkative guy, so whenever we see him on camera, probably has something nice and fun to say.
If anything, though, I think Flashback might show us a bit more in Breeze, perhaps, as that is the next map. But here we go. Bit of a last effort from DFM. We've got the judge on net. 5 rounds. The first one has been spent. 4 slugs remaining. And the rest of DRX, they tried. Spike down. The rest of them want to corral around, and they managed to make it happen. Spike and Sight still picked up.
You should run.
Got exciting for a second.
Yeah, but no support. And then DRX, sure, this lockdown can feel a bit early, but there's just no way for them to break it. Just trying to pop around away from that Trailblazer as well.
I want to bite that lockdown. Nothing doing for now.
Imagine if the Trailblazers could break the lockdown.
No. Will.
I think this is the beginning of the end here for map 1.
Certainly
Plan
feels like
பண்ணிட்டாங்க.
it. Look at
Not
the
much
positioning
time.
from DRX. The time
DRX தான் ஜெயிக்கும்.
is not great. Paranoia sets up, but they have to push in now. And as soon as they make it past the toxic screen, it's an easy shot.
முடிஞ்சு ஐயா. இன்னும் ஒண்ணே ஒண்ணு முடிஞ்சு அவ்வளவுதான்.
And Mako steals it away.
டீமே வைப் பண்ணி தூக்கிட்டாங்க.
13-8 DRX.
DRX ஒன்னு வின் இன்னும் ஒரு மேட்ச் இருக்கு.
Solid win for DRX on map 1 on their opponent's pick of Lotus. And DFM, I mean, especially because it was their map pick, I want to say, I have to imagine they had more that they wanted to show. This wasn't the entirety of their preparation. There were some good moments, especially individually. There were a couple good calls as well. But at the end of the day, it did not look like they were able to open up their entire playbook and showcase why they felt confident on Lotus. So you can see a bit of disappointment in themselves, it seems. But the match isn't over just yet.
Certainly not. We still got another map to go.
இன்னும் ஒரு மேட்ச் இருக்கு. அந்த மேட்ச்ல மறுபடியும் DRX மேட்ச்னா அவ்வளவுதான் முடிஞ்சு.
It is DRX's map pick though. So you know what? I'm going to let our analysts break all of that down.
And DRX pockets Lotus the first map on this series. Now, look, we see the scoreline. They're going up against one of the titans of Korea, DRX, but DFM came up huge in the first half.
They really did, and I mean, this was a lot closer than you would have anticipated, given that DRX was able to find both of the pistol rounds. You know, they were taking those away, but DFM, with some very solid perseverance, continued to fight back. Yeah, it was really scrappy, but we saw some really nice moments coming through from Neth, from May. I mean, pretty much everybody on the team here fighting tooth and nail to try to get themselves into a winning position. And but DRX, they do manage to come out on top. Some really solid performances from Stacks in particular, as we'll see his scoreline in a little bit. kind of back to being that fragging IGL, which was something that was severely lacking for DRX in the last couple of years. Well, not last couple of years, but last couple of tournaments, let's say.
Yeah, definitely the last couple tournaments. And we were talking about this. DRX, I mean, we haven't seen massive changes in their playstyle, but is that what we needed anyway, Asterai?
Not at all. Again, they wanted to have that consistency over any massive changes, to be honest. That's why I was telling how they wanted to at least have the stronger guns with Foxy 9 as well as Flashback. And boy, did you actually see both of those players just have some insane shooting highlights throughout this entire first map. So I think it's going in the direction that DRX wants, but as the casters were mentioning, they haven't shown all of what they've got.
Perhaps. I mean, you know, the big issue here is this DRX just kind of getting everybody to that point, to where they were when they had Zest and RB in this roster, and then building on top of that, because obviously the concern is, do you hit that same ceiling? Do you continue to just be in this position where you look good, you look the same, but you don't necessarily look better? So that's the thing to look forward to in the future. But as we get ready to go into Breeze, a map that we haven't seen too much of, pretty much from anybody, but from DRX in particular in VCT, we haven't seen it since they played against Optic back in Istanbul in their lower final. I'm curious if they have anything new, or if this is going to be similar to our, you know, Talon v Secret Ascent, where it's like, okay, well, we're just kind of back to stock standard stuff. So I want to see some new things from them. But for DFM, I think this was a solid effort. They managed to kind of tie the record as far as rounds won against DRX, because they did get 8 on a fracture versus them during the regular season last year in Pacific. But overall, I do think that things do look a bit more concise for them.
And we got the 2 races MVPing here, and Terming had his eye on May, and rightfully so. He showed up as the race.
Yeah, and that's just, again, because of how strong May does perform. We saw how he was able to create those double satchel plays here, but there were some points where, again, they were very much separated by DRX, and DFM just couldn't really play off of May's capabilities, and it left a lot of the players, sometimes the leftover players, kind of just struggling to find those rotations, and that's where I really think DFM needs to focus on. We see Esu, Neth, there was this one round where they didn't just plant the spike because they didn't really know where their opponents were, and you saw how lost DFM was. So if they can find that, the answer to that problem, it'll definitely look a lot more better here for DFM.
Yeah.
We did see moments of glory from Anthem as well. Continues to be really effective on the Sky.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to the Sky in general, he's got really good game sense about when he should use his utility. But aside from that, just his fragging power continues to be quite good. Yeah, I mean, he's playing this, you know, support role, trying to really enable May. And you can see, based on May's stats, that he's doing a good job of it. 12-17, not going to be the most impressive thing, you know, not jaw-dropping or anything, but we also did have that nice highlight where he had the Sheriff in hand, manages to come up with several quick kills. So Anthem still very much has it. But I think the thing for a lot of people to consider in this is that DFM still are going to be a team that is very much kind of growing from the ground up. Yes, there is a lot of experience between 4 of these players, but Anthem now needs to fit into that mix and kind of find his position, find like what is going to be maximum comfort for him and how he interacts in this squad that has played together for so very long. So while they work towards that, you know, we're going to see some growing pains from DFM, but overall, I feel way more positive about the team just after this initial showing, even though they still come away with a loss.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, guys, remember, DFM, this is a really brand new roster. Besides that, a lot of them, this is the first time on the Pacific stage. So this is a pretty amazing showing. Like you said, despite DRX winning 2 pistol rounds, it is a lot closer than you think. On DRX's side, it looks like they're working on it too. And like you said, are they going to hit the ceiling? It looks like they still need to tighten a couple of screws and get it, you know, get it a lot tighter.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, for May to be able to really stick alongside Buzz in a loss where you're only able to pick up 8 rounds for your squad, it's pretty damn impressive. And I mean, we knew that this guy could deliver. He has been one of the best over there in Japan for a while. And he's continuing to just already be in the spotlight.
I just want to see how he's going to fare out in a more open map that is going to be Breeze, because I feel like even though we were talking about how DRX, you know, hasn't really changed their play style, the pace at which they can actually go for plays, I feel like is so much faster in that particular first game. You saw how there was that one round where Mako made the big mistake. The round after that, they just charged in onto the C site, and they were able to get so many frags very quickly that it showed that DFM was not prepared for that. So again, these change of paces that DRX has in their arsenal of what plays they can make definitely put DFM on their toes. And again, a lot of challenges for this big star that is Mei.
That was very uncharacteristic of Mako, though, I have to say.
You saw his face.
I think it's the second time that that's happened to him. I think William was talking about it as well in the broadcast. I believe that has happened one other time. But yeah, you know, it's one of those things, heat of the moment. You're the guy that everybody looks to be the clutch god on the team. And sometimes you make a little bit of an oopsie. I mean, at the end of the day,
he was laughing about it.
you give up a round. Yeah, he had his head in his hands, but there was a smile on his face. So ultimately, I don't think that the gentle giant of Mako is going to be too bothered. But I mean, what Astrai was talking about as far as those tempo shifts, I feel like a lot of times you see it when there is that kind of mistake, and Buzz just gets angry. And angry Buzz is so terrifying because that's when he does go blast packing into C-Site and he just comes away with 3 quick kills in the blink of an eye. So it's always something to be a bit concerned about. But, you know, DFM, if they continue to just improve and build off of what we have right here, I think that they could be in a very good spot.
I mean, I also have a question. Do you think these guys would give a Vandal to their sweetheart or the 40-kill Reyna in a ranked game?
I think that these guys definitely care more about getting points and ranking up and climbing the ladder, so I think they would definitely do the Reyna.
I think they would give it to their sweetheart because they're already here on the Pacific stage in rank. I mean,
I don't know what
matters, but does it really matter?
I will side with Achilles on this one, I'm sorry.
Okay.
You always have to give it to...
Maybe Kyungmin can ask them about it later. We asked the audience, maybe we can ask DRX or DFM, depending how this goes. Now, the first map, Lotus, was DFM's pick. You could tell they had some things prepared. The caster mentioned this as well, but it seemed like they weren't able to showcase a lot of what could have been.
Yeah, I think that, again, as the growing pains continue, we're going to see things more fleshed out. We're going to see more set plays. We're going to see just cleaner communication and plays overall from the side of DFM. Because even though the majority of them have played together in the past on Crazy Raccoon, so there is that pre-existing synergy, we don't fully know how much time they've had to try and reestablish that. Because, again, we haven't seen them in quite some time. They weren't able to make it over towards Ascension. And given all of the different changes and all of these different players that we saw that were getting signed to DFM, and, even playing in some off-season stuff, we don't know how long this 5-man has been playing together, because they could have been playing with JoJo, they could have been playing with Suggest, etc. So I think it's going to take a little while to really iterate on this, for them to, really get on the horse and be able to ride it.
Yeah, I will just say here for DFM, it feels like in the rounds that they were very successful at, they were able to really read the rotations of DRX. So even through all of those gripes, right, that they have to adjust, all of this and that, coming into a new team, they still have that solid ability to be able to, again, just read out their opponents, which, again, can work out in a pinch, especially when we're coming into this second map.
Yeah, that's right. Going into Breeze. Now, I feel like one map really isn't enough to determine how DFM is going to be playing this. How are they going to be responding to DRX, who surely has prepped something cool for this map?
I mean, we hope, but knowing DRX, it could just be, oh, hey, yeah, we're just going to run what we have run before. Because, I mean, we've seen them play at Red Bull home ground. They played Breeze versus Fnatic with this 5-man core. Didn't have RB and Zest at that tournament. It was Foxy9. It was Flashback. And it wasn't anything too special or particular, because, again, they haven't played this in a VCT official tournament since Istanbul in 2022, and that's when Chamber was the meta. That's when they were going up against El Diablo, and he was at full power and everything like that. So I think that we could just expect to see maybe more of stacks on Sova, which has been pretty rough, to say the least. So, but it could be more of that with the KO, Harbor, etc. that they were running on that map. We'll have to just see if they do have something new.
Now let's take a look back at the first map of this series on Lotus. See Buzz doing Buzz things.
Yeah, and I mean, if any of these pistols had gone the way of DFM, this could have been a very different game, either a much closer one, or it could have been them potentially taking the win away. So something to certainly work on for the future, just trying to nail those down, but it was just very clean starts to the halves here from the side of DRX. But I mean, it's highlights abounds from either side. There's so many just multi-frag moments for all of these players.
Yeah, lots of shock and awe from DRX here, and I think it just goes back to what we were talking about. There's a lot of readjustment here for a team like this that hasn't really had that international experience yet, and DRX has that in spades already. So them being able to do this is still somewhat remarkable, but again, at the end of the day, they would want that dub if they can. Coming into Breeze, though, it feels like there is going to be a bit of a tall task against that, especially if, I mean, you were talking about how Stax likes to go for the Sova. I think he might even bring the Fade into Breeze, because he was pretty good on that on Lotus, and it's not the worst on Breeze if you have double controller. You know,
I think it depends on how much work he's
yeah.
put in towards that Sova,
Fair.
because you pretty much would always rather have that as your initiator coming through just for the info gather, and that tied in alongside the KO gives you a hell of a lot of it, because you can use that 0 point to identify just, okay, how many people are pushing up elbow right now, how many people are going to be in A main, etc. So having that in the recon darts, especially to just disrupt timing, to disrupt people who are holding hard angles on Breeze, it's really, really important. But if Stax hasn't gotten that Sova up to a point where it feels like it will work, then maybe that's when they decide to opt away from it, not quite go down that path. But
I don't know that.
I think all the Korean casters in the green room had a similar look on their face when DFM was starting to run back there. But maybe they do have something different, because we've been seeing a lot of Neon so far in both of our Breezes. There has been at least that one Neon that's been in play. Still haven't really seen that chamber coming into the fold, but Yoru, of course, also ever so present. And I'm wondering, do they take a punt here? Do they try to go for something like that to just really shake things up? Or is it just going to be DRX doing what DRX typically does and playing exactly what you expect them to do?
Now, what I really like about this audience, definitely DRX is
They're playing
playing
Yoru!
Double duelist too!
Okay,
Oh,
we've got
wow.
Foxy9 back on Jet, Buzz on Yoru, and it's not quite mirrored, but it's a little bit similar on the opposite side. The Cypher Viper's there, and we have May now bringing out this Yoru as well. Oh, I'm very happy.
I like this. If you can't have another initiator with a flash, you must go for the Yoru. And again, you have that combination. Also, biggest counter to Cypher right now has got to be the Sova. So I do see it as a staple.
And here's the biggest concern. I'll just throw this out there real quick. We have Mako on Viper, and that's it for smokes.
We have Mako on Viper, casters, over to you.
We have Mako on Viper, we got double duelists, we got double Yorus on both sides. Thank you so much, Chubby Ninja, Asteroid, and Achilles. This is going to be one crazy match.
Yeah, and Foxy9 back on the Jet as well with this double duelist. I mean, Buzz on the Yoru, not too shocking, especially with that what Asteroid mentioned, you know, considering that he's often played the KO and things like that to be that supporting second line of entry with the flashes, but a very different take on the Yoru pickup from DFM. Right, you've got Neth on the Harbor, so trying to cut things up a bit more, but it's going to be a tough attack for them. They need to get these early picks, because otherwise it's going to be pretty telling how you enter onto a site. And there's that pick I was talking about.
Dude, Buzz is not going to be happy about that one. Foxy answers right back, though. DFM just losing out their legs for a second, but still very much alive. Oh, as Foxy9 pushes past this Poison Cloud, it's so risky.
Well, this is kind of good bait for Cess, though. As they've all gone through halls, yeah, it's kind of hard to predict that he'd be right under from the shoot.
Oh, what? Wait, what? I guess it's right off the edge. The second one will definitely secure it, though. May still very much alive, goes in for the next shot. 22 HP, just gate crashes into safety. The plant goes through, but Flashback senses it and uses the timing to push up front. A second shot, and here is that rookie.
Good shots, too. Very crucial. Both of them were quite low. So if that was a headshot right off the bat, Stax was pretty low. Could have still been a 1v2 victory for DFM. But it's going to be Flashback. All the impact kills coming in from Flashback here on the pistol round.
Very explosive, as we got two opening picks really quickly. But as soon as that retake comes through, I mean, the pivotal position coming in from Foxy9, like you mentioned, Will. The shock dart from Stax to get the kill on the Cess. But then Flashback.
So quick.
Is he, you know, maybe Izu's not the only player that's the future.
No, I'm still more convinced by Izu showing so far. But the match isn't over just yet.
really early. Foxy9 pulling out the Outlaw. That's going to be fun to see. Off of that duelist, he loves to go peeking.
Oh,
Definitely spots one out. And you know what? With the Outlaw, the wallbang, the penetration on this thing, it's just so good.
And a bit of a way far out jump as well. I mean, Anthem just trying to switch it up, see if they can catch him on another timing, bait out the shots so they can run in as a double.
And look at the default positioning from DRX as well. I mean, Foxy9, you know, he's put up that wall up around shop or cave, and DFM no longer wants to challenge it. Mako watching halls. You got a little bit more support from Stax, who has recons that you can send out towards mid as well. So they've got all these bases covered. Mako fires off a shot, and all of a sudden DFM, I don't know if you want to keep going into A anymore.
Yeah, this is a weird eco round where Neth just keeps getting caught behind alone. Now, do they check this corner? No, but it's just a classic.
Spike down mid.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it's an eco, but it's just this weird push up from DFM where it's Neth with the spike who constantly gets left behind, and he's like, well, how am I supposed to get out of this choke point?
Right. A lot of these like solo efforts, getting caught in odd positions, and DRX just being clean with their shots. First you got Foxy9, then you got Mako.
The thing I am most impressed about with Flashback, though, I've mentioned it before, is just how calm he looks, right? He's like, oh, this is just another game of Valorant. That he's giving off that vibe on stage. I mean, who knows? You know, if we do have a chance to hear from him, maybe he's going to say this was the most nervous he's ever been. But the thing is with Foxy9, we could tell he was nervous. You know, some of the matches that he played, or even the maps when they were winning with Foxy9 on stage, you could tell that the adrenaline and the nerves were getting to him, both in his play and just how he looked on camera. Whereas Flashback, yeah, it's just saying, I mean, it's just Valorant, right?
It would be super funny if he actually said he was.
I mean, it's possible. Some people are good at hiding it.
Oh, but look at this. And the drone does not spot him as well. Screen is running out, though, and DFM hasn't pushed out all too far, so Mako's still in a pretty darn good position.
He's holding so close, too.
Medusa off of the lurk, able to capture Foxy9. Mako instantly getting the trade-off.
And the snake bite as well, that stops them to enter the cove at all. I mean, the only hope is that Medusa got a pick on the lurk. But what? You saw Flashback, okay, oh my goodness.
Wants to find even more first.
No, but I thought he was pretty much part of the wall as a statue right there.
Oh, what?
3 out of 5.
Well, I would have thought that DRX would have responded to it.
Well, I mean, it looked like Stax thought it was going to be him just trying to dig into the site. I don't know, a bit of a comms breakdown perhaps.
30 seconds
Some questionable moves, but at the end of the day, DFM 4v2 advantage to try to break into the B site.
Last player
Anthem was on the lurk as well.
All right, we'll see if Stax can dig them out of this one, but it's not quite going to happen. Cess had the positioning up around window. DFM comes back in. No bonuses so far.
Yeah, some mysteries in that one, but at the end of the day, the lurk comes in clutch from Medusa. I mean, that happened very early on into the round, so a good kill there.
That's the second one.
I am actually wondering if Buzz was trying to act like he was a decoy, because the way he was walking on that angle is really weird. I mean, could be, I don't know, maybe we're reading too much into it.
DRX அடிச்சிருவாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்
I
மேட்ச்.
mean, if it wasn't decoy, would you just run forward? Whatever it is, Mate now has the dimensional drift, goes into it, gets all the info on the site, and is looking to get a pinch onto, you know, maybe Flashback or Buzz. Oh, Flash doesn't quite go out, though. Buzz able to take him down. Neth makes it a bit of a trade. Medusa now back in from top of elbow. Archers is
Plan
Mako's position, but with
DFM.
the numbers.
You have to save.
Yeah, and the op too.
Exactly, yeah, a big investment there. So DRX not going to greet it. It's very early on into the half, so no need for that. But yeah, we've been seeing a lot more Yorus now with the dimensional drifts as well, where they're not just going to try to go for the flashy plays where you go for the pop flash and then jump out, go for the shorty, things like that. They really do start to utilize that ultimate as an initiating tool. Wait for your teammates and then just pop out, go for the trades. I mean, it looked like May should have had an opportunity to get the kill himself onto Buzz, but at the end of the day, only that one weapon dropped. And that should help them stabilize quite steadily, as it was a rough buy round on the round.
Yeah, not too bad for DFM. And you gotta wonder.
இந்த வாட்டி DFM win ஆனா third round இருக்கும். அப்படி இல்லனா
DRX. They had a
DRX win.
Of course, this is still just early, but this is DRX's map pick.
Yeah, and as the Des mentioned as well, even on Lotus, they won both pistols, so the score itself didn't tell the entire story. It could have been a much closer map. I mean, sure, I'm not saying we shouldn't count pistols as part of the skill level, but you know, they started with a massive advantage. Ended up being a 13-8 score line.
Makes me wonder how DFM might fare against a team like Team Secret as well. So we'll save that for a future day. But for now, DFM continuing to try to push through. It is them up against a slightly wounded DRX though.
DFM push பண்றாங்க.
Still very much alive.
Plan பண்ணலாம் யாருக்கு இருக்கு ஸ்பைக்.
But look at all of these walls.
Yeah, they still haven't found any picks that they would want yet either.
Time to jump.
Plan
With
பண்ணியாச்சு.
that, Spike goes down. Neff gets
Down,
it done.
spike down.
Stacks, no angle seen either. As soon
ஏல
as
down spike.
you know the high tide goes down, Toxic Scream comes up. And then after that, I don't know, you still got a little bit more utility. One more Cascade is available. Oh, look at the gate crash back into safety. Reckoning deployed as well. DRX starting to feel the pressure. Foxy9 has to push up front, goes in for the tap, wants to bait out. Here comes a bit of a flash, but DRX are landing their shots. Buzz goes in for yet another. Flashback gets one of his own. Foxy9 gets another shot too. And despite all of those utilities and ultimates spent, DRX claims the round.
DRX win.
The tempo just one step ahead of DFM. The original
எல்லாரும் ஒரு கில் டீம்
it
is
was going to be Mace jump peeking, then gate crashing out. Off of that, Medusa goes on the lurk, and then you kind of chain the lurks as well as you're holding out in main, but they realize they're already way close up to pyramids, so you need to just join back in main. The Reckoning sent a little deep as well, so DRX able to start pushing out in front of it, avoid those stuns. Clean shots across the board for DRX.
Nice. Really, really clean. I think that was one of the difference makers too. DFM, although they do recognize some of the situations, you know, sometimes it's just tough. A little bit slower on the decision making, and now it's going to be a DRX feeling a little bit more rejuvenated. But what is that swing from Medusa?
That was one of the snappier swings against the operator. It's a good call from Medusa. That shakes up the setup from DRX quite a bit, but lots of tools still. The pit remaining for a little bit longer on A main as well.
Just a bit, but hearing the footsteps out towards mid, Mako wants to investigate. That fake out was kind of used as well. Prompts May to kind of peek back down. Gate crash will be used as he regroups with his squad. So now it's all up to Buzz actually to kind of receive and welcome them over to the B side. Flashback here as well. Oh, great double burst. 2 kills for each of the DRX members. Now it's all down to May. Spotted out, flashes out, but has to turn tail and hide.
Oh, it is getting chipped down even lower. A good gate crash, and Buzz drawing so much attention to the back of sight. Frees up Flashback to hold close angles. A surprising double kill throws off DFM away from their own tempo. Then they're struggling to at least try to clean up Buzz as well, but the headshots line up.
And it's just, again, a DRX on defense that knows exactly how to play around the corners, knows exactly how to jiggle back and forth and strafe shoot perfectly. Flashback, that's clean. Buzz, a little bit cleaner too.
Timeout, surely from DFM. Trying to see what other answers they can have, because without getting a clean first kill, and usually from the main force, I mean, Medusa had a great first kill here, but you know, it's away from the main force. They had to regroup, and at that point, the execute starts to look a little obvious when Yoro's your only duelist. So I'm curious to see what else they have prepared. Now, working mid, like they did here, mid and hall is that pressure. It does shake the default just a bit, right? You have to have many more angles to cover, and sometimes maybe that means you can't put all your trips on one site. You have to use one on halls at the very least. That used to be the go-to way back when. So there's some options to force DRX out of their comfort zone, but DFM, what's their choice?
That is the question, especially for this timeout. I mean, you're absolutely right. With Yor being their sole duelist, Will, it's a little bit tricky and difficult to really create that space for your team. You don't have the same mobility and dive potential that Jet does, or Raze. So at least for this round, Anthem on the Guardian, just gonna try to play it safe for a second. DRX, though, starting to stretch their legs a little bit. Look at what Buzz is doing down halls.
I like it after the timeout as well. You know they have enough money for a half armor buy. Oh, he jumps down. Make sure that they can't pressure mid too hard. Gate crashes out. Doesn't find solid info.
It does invite Medusa for a bit of a visit, though.
Yeah, but see, this is the change from DRX. That trip now put on Hall, so the earlier mid pressure. That way they don't have to keep watching both Nest and Hall. So DRX adjusting. They still have the gate crash for backup going to B. Don't have to worry about anything like a KO. So the default is here for DRX. Still finding comfort. Different angles on A side as well. Mako close. He's used that position before.
Wow. He's just ready. Buzz sends out the fake out as well. Just a bit more info. There it is. Foxy9 has arrived up around bridge. That's the first kill. Stax picks up the other. And then Mako, getting gunned down actually by Anthem. It gives DFM a little bit more space, but how long can they hold this on? Because Foxy9 has his sights available. Stax with a bit of a lineup from the Shock Dart too. May still very much in the game. Just wants to go in to retrieve the spike. 15 seconds left and he has to stick the plant. Oh.
He's going to get tagged, but can he get out of it? No! Stax follows him right through on the jump.
Stuck in on the first beam. So although it was a good idea, did not quite anticipate Stax's Hunter's Fury. DRX investing every cent and dime to secure the round wins.
Yeah, and the quick decision from Stax as well, both on the Shock Dart and the Hunter's Fury. I mean, the pit's used to try to just get into the site, because they think that's going to be enough to win it out. Yeah, and he sees that coming up. Yeah, the pit's being used. He doesn't even actually necessarily hear the pit when he draws out the Shock Dart, but he just wants to deny that spike going into the site, and then he backs off knowing that he has the Hunter's Fury.
This is
incredible.
That goes there.
3 rounds, 1 in a row now. That win bonus is flowing.
Yeah, on a rough round for DFM. They're kind of now stuck into their own half armor meta.
Wow.
May's still putting up kills, but it's not leading to much anymore.
It's just single frags and then trades for DRX. Foxy9 punishing with that operator, but Stax now coming in to take a peek. It somehow doesn't pay off.
Poison orb emitting.
More members than he anticipated, perhaps. And then we got some pings from DFM.
Yeah, but look at Foxy9's position. They know they've lost mid entirely, so he just takes over the entirety of A main all the way into the cave. Now, if he peeks out any further, his legs will show on that spy cam.
I like it. Staying vigilant, trying to read the timings for how DRX might rotate. Still is a play in towards the A site though, so trying to make use of the pyramids and the toxic screen. Medusa with such a deep position actually pinches on towards Mako. Starting to look like a very secure DFM round.
Yeah, this is a weird round just because, you know, DFM's going to be able to buy up next round anyway. But Flashback gets 2 in a row? Now with the, yeah, of course you use the Blade Storm then.
How did that happen? I gotta see that. He gets a third
triple.
2 as he pushes out. Foxy9 just making noise, trying to buy it away from Anthem. We spent 1 left click, 1 knife.
Hey. He's ready for it. The Shock Dart doesn't go out, and he follows him up the spray around the pyramid. A beautiful 4K.
DRX
Gets the Neural Theft with the defuse. The Academy youngster now on the main squad. A very impactful round win for him.
You know, we were wondering, right, on Lotus, you know, he had some of these 1-on-2 situations. If he can clutch this out, he will be amazing. Guess what? 2-on-4. He can do it just as well. He took down 3.
I'm starting to see why the DRX players are hyping up Flashback. Oh, he's got the energy as well. I like it. Okay.
Not just calm anymore. All right.
Okay. The thing is he doesn't seem to be a very flashy player, but in some ways similar to Mako, just doesn't get shaken up no matter what. Always expecting the next target.
The pop off though.
Well, that's unlike Mako for sure.
But yeah, whatever it is, here's the next round. Dimensional Drift was deployed. Hunter's Fury and all the ults and utilities too. Foxy9 starting to feel the pressure, but he's still okay with the shorty. Pops up over onto the decoy, and May wins out the duel. Trades from Buzz though. Flashback still very much alive. Look at the movement. Support coming through. And he picks up the third kill. Medusa, off of a bit of a lurk. Can't quite find all
DRX
the
பயங்கரமா
munches.
விளையாடுறாங்க.
Gets spotted out towards the end. Buzz takes him out.
Let this be a lesson to all the other Korean players. Pop-offs matter.
தலைவரே நீதானா?
No, I'm serious.
தலைவன் வேற லெவல்ல
Like
விளையாடுறானே.
Valorant, the momentum matters so much. The energy matters. Obviously, it could lead to overheats, but sure, Flashback's been doing consistently well across each map, but the way he's swinging out of the smokes, the way he's taking fights alongside veterans on the squad of DRX.
I hear what you're saying. The confidence, the energy, you love all of that. I'm just laughing because as soon as you say that, Mako's face shows up and he doesn't pop off.
Well, Mako's an exception. You know, Mako, he talks about how
DFM வந்து பிளான் பண்றாங்க.
maybe would have won champions. Maybe if you popped off, you would have won
ஏக்கு
champions.
போறாங்க.
Maybe that's the secret ingredient.
Maybe it's got to be whatever it is. Medusa definitely has a bit of aim as well. Off the lurks, off of May, the Guardian shots. Despite this being a half by DFM, they are still ready to shoot through.
Plan பண்ணலாம் பண்ணுங்க.
Go all the way to the plant. Now, Dimensional Drift available for Buzz, so there's some options. He's actually dug all the way deep with the Gate Crash as well.
Okay,
you can't read that one.
Safer out.
I love how he sends the great crash out towards mid as well, and then
3 versus 4 guys. 3 versus 4.
Play towards the back of A main.
Just wants to spot how many people are where. Wow. 2 in main flashes just to keep them tied up. 3rd and 4th. He's isolated. Oh, that's a good shot from Flashback.
What the heck? Incredible long range duels. The Reckoning was saved for this moment. Tried to go in for that gate crash, but not quite in time. Mako, deeper position, has to hold it for his teammate. Unfortunately, Flashback drops down, so it comes down to the one.
But win. இதுக்கப்புறம் பண்ண முடியாது.
1, 2, 3 and to the 4.
Yeah. Just the unfortunate part there is May tried to go in for an upgrade on the weapon, but not enough time left. The spike goes off, so not even the Guardian kept over.
Still a good win.
I mean, when you're this far behind, though, you gotta make sure you're taking everything you can.
True.
So we'll see. I mean, we'll see if it adds up.
But I'm just impressed. I mean, these were all just Guardian shots. Getting the frag out towards halls. I mean, they're starting to get an idea for how DRX positions themselves. We are nearing the end of the first half, though.
எல்லாம் எங்க ஏக் புஷ் பண்றாங்க.
Potential 7-5.
That is how we ended off the first half on the first map.
That's a good move as well. Just note that Buzz spams that out and then he gate crashes out, and it could have been bait for someone to peek in to Foxy9's operator.
Oh, Mako.
Yeah, but DFM plays it smart. They have no
Plan பண்ணிட்டாங்க.
Oh, Mako. Oh, no. Uncharacteristic whip, but just as good.
ரெண்டு பேர் 4 versus 2 பிளான் பண்ணியாச்சு. 2 versus 2.
But then his position is revealed. Stacks knows.
ரெண்டு சைடுமே இந்த சைடும் சோவா சைஃபர் இந்த சைடு சோவா சைஃபர். ஐயோ போச்சு.
Knew where one player was, but not quite sure about Anthem.
இந்த வாட்டி DFM ஜெயிக்கும்.
Oh, jump peeks and wall tags. Medusa is coming up from behind. 8 rounds left in the mag. Stacks tries to stick it halfway. But just left a little bit undetected. Medusa comes back up and
so much aggro from mid in that post plant. What a crucial lurk. Starts off with a kill as well, a second, and then the cyber cage, and then he breaks the drone from Anthem. Like you said, that keeps him hidden just long enough for Flashback to not have his crosshairs lined up on that corner.
You gotta admire how sharp some of these crazy Raccoons players are.
You mean DFM?
Okay,
DRX 7 DFM வந்து
They
4
are DFM. I don't know what you're talking
இந்த
about.
மேட்ச் லைக் இந்த ரவுண்ட் வின் பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா DRX win இல்ல நெக்ஸ்ட் ரவுண்ட் வரும்
Definitely are, and they
Draw
are
ஆயிடும்.
showing up bigger performances than last year. If we can end this
Come on, guys,
7-5, I
little
might
bit.
actually, have some hope of this possibly going for
வீடியோ யாரனா அப்புறம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்க
Stay with
சப்போர்ட் பண்ணுங்க
Dimensional Drift now, looking to initiate on towards B site, or at least create a bit of pressure once more. Medusa lurking out towards A main.
Oh, this is hard though. I mean, this is how they're trying to take up space elsewhere, but May's got to have an escape ready to go.
Oh.
It's too late. You spotted two members on opposite
பின்னாடி
sides.
இருக்காங்க
What a
அவர் பார்க்கல
risk.
போல அவர்
Very, very risky. Everyone's all split up. Now you got Buzz who took down Medusa.
If he gets more than one here.
ஸ்பை கேரக்டருக்கு ஸ்லோவா கிட்ட இருக்கா
I mean, then the
எனக்கு
round's
தெரிஞ்சு
over.
அவங்க புஷ் மூவ் பண்ணிடலாம்
Flashes through. Wow. Good play, but good shot and good flick away from
3
him
versus
as
3.
well. He dodged that flash like it's nothing.
பிளான் பண்ணியாச்சா
Just in time for that high tide 2 from
Spike
Neth.
planted.
And it keeps
Panic,
Snap at
panic.
bay.
But they couldn't get Neth the plant, so no reckoning available. It was only 1 point away. Well, this isn't something DRX has done too much of, but they're wary of it. They have enough people still left alive. 3 versus 3. And the neural theft. You have to push
3
out.
versus 2.
You got to take this fight.
புஷ்
They
பண்ணிடணும்
are
புஷ்
pinched,
பண்ணிடணும்
they are sandwiched in. Foxy9, if you don't take the fight against Flashback, Foxy9 is right on the other end.
முடிச்சு
They
முடிச்சா
held their
முடிச்சேன்
ground, but it's not quite enough as
DRX தான்
Flashback,
ஜெயிக்கும்
unbelievable peaks.
I mean, I know it's a low-cost ultimate, but what was that? 4 neural thefts? 3 neural thefts? I mean, quite a few. Sure, they fed him a couple, defuses and things like that, but what a couple of rounds from Flashback.
Certainly speeds up the process and the
Half
retake
time.
of that neural theft.
இப்போ DRX பிளான்
So, I
பண்ணுவாங்க
mean, that's the story today. We're seeing DRX, we are seeing new compositions, and we are seeing Flashback.
All right, this fan says that they will buy dinner if... It didn't say who, but if they win, and it said per person $50. So that's like a really decent dinner, like a nice dinner.
It doesn't say who.
It doesn't say, but that means if anybody, right? Like that's up to interpretation. So I'll take it. I'm down for a $50 dinner from a fan.
Yeah, something like Korean barbecue. Whatever it is, the map's not over yet. 8-4. It's a lot of improvements all around. Sharp shots coming out from players such as May, Medusa. The thing is, though, as we swap over to the next half, I mean, how do you make the compositions work? It's
Well,
a little bit better, yeah.
Yeah, it should be easier for DFM, or at least it's easier to showcase what they prepped. But I'm curious, because Buzz is Yoru, depending on how mobile that is, I mean, I think that's going to be the make or break.
That's what I'm thinking about. Theoretically, good composition for defense. You got Medusa on that Cypher. You've got the double controller. But you also got double duelist in the form of not just Buzz, but also Foxy9, who has been sniping. He hasn't had the best performances, given how he loves to peek out on his own, but still enough that it confuses DFM at times.
Fast push out with a cascade on A, so gate crash available for backup as well.
Well, everyone just kind of holds back. May already pinched down by Foxy9.
That's an early camp.
Ooh.
Oh!
Wow, Spike Planter killed.
A good pick out. I mean, that's enough time for backup to arrive from mid, and DRX knows this.
Hence, they are not pushing up front to retrieve the spike just yet. I'm more curious about Mako's positioning, though, as he wraps back up around. The high tide does block off quite a bit towards B main, though.
Good cyber cage from Flashback.
Stays in that thing. Knows that Neth is right around the corner. Oh, but past the toxic screen. As soon as it drops, though, picks off Cess. Neth right around a Rosie with that pillar. But Mako lands a shot. Too many targets, a little bit overwhelmed. DRX, another pistol.
Flashback, just almost robotic to a certain extent. But that's what you want from someone that you can trust to anchor really just hold, one angle, one part of the map. And the cyber cage, I mean, even though he doesn't necessarily get a kill off of it, the fact that it now makes him question, is he in the cage? Is he going to pop out on the other side? Is he still in the cubby? That forces him. It funnels him all the way back in to the other side.
At some point, they just decided, like, okay, we don't want to deal with him. Let's try to run backside, but that is where he finds that opening. So with a pistol win now, Foxy9 on another outlaw buy. DFM off the save.
All classics. I mean, that's okay. An ambitious jump, but a clean shot from Flashback nonetheless.
Walks up like it's nothing. Now we've got that gate crash play onto site. Most of it is clear. Fake out clears it out in full. But Flashback is in such a good position too. Gets a clean second one, now feeling a bit more pressure from the double peaks, but Mako instantly
Guys, welcome guys.
respond.
இப்போ DRX plan பண்ணோம். இன்னும் 3 மேட்ச் தான் bro. DRX தான் ஜெயிக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
Does get traded. That's a
அவ்வளவுதான்.
bulldog over to DFM, but Mako's there at long range. Good support from the veteran older brother. Stacks loving what his teammates can show under his leadership. I mean, Stacks is one of those players again he's had great moments, but as a leader, it's been very up and down.
பையன் சின்ன பையனா எப்படி விளையாடுறானுங்க அவன்.
Had trouble handling the pressure. I mean, he's spoken out about it as well. But now rejuvenated with 2 young
10
players.
மேட்ச் முடிஞ்சு இன்னும் 3 மேட்ச் தான் பிளான்
This
வெச்சு
is just
ஜெயிச்சிருவாங்க.
Kickoff, but I am starting to wonder, like, champions being in Korea this year, is there going to be a little bit more pressure towards the later
எங்க
half
ஃபுல்லா
of the year?
DRX எங்க B
I mean,
B தான் push
they'll
பண்ணுது.
have to get there for sure.
They
'Cause
want to.
If that doesn't happen, boy. We saw a similar situation with Masters Tokyo last year. I don't think DRX would want to be in those shoes ever.
Definitely not. Which is why this performance so far has been good. Just clearing things
Plant
out.
up on
Check.
tongue.
They see that spy camera. Shooting things out. Medusa still trying to play around. Oh,
Super.
he sneaks underneath the tripwire. Takes down
ரைட்ல
Stacks.
யாரனா வரணும்.
This might get
அப்பதான்
slowed
அடிக்க
down.
முடியும்.
Yeah, a little bit high on the tripwire, but at
3
the end of the
versus
day, just trying
5.
to buy.
பிளான் பண்ணியாச்சு யார் ஜெயிக்கறான்னு பார்க்கலாம்.
They just make sure that they can get numbers advantage.
The post plants are coming. The lineups from the snake bites. It's
Starting
already
to
on the
whiz
way.
through the air.
They need to push out.
Oh, they're running out of time. DFM, they're clearing off way too much.
Yeah,
Outlaw still
DFM.
fires through.
Oh!
Trying to tap back into it. Buzz lands it through. Seth's trying to stick it. He's
Oh.
trying to make it go through, and Anthem will secure the frag on towards Buzz. Just enough for Seth to stick the defuse.
Oof. That could have been dicey just because I think DRX made the right call to say
எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு இந்த வாட்டி ஏக்கு போவாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
members, they're still not peeking out
DRX.
since they've spent enough time. Fire off the snake bites first, and then we'll still have 3 members on this firing range from window. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, a little bit of better weaponry and still more members for DFM. Yeah, Anthem's relieved on that one. He knows what trouble they could have faced there.
Almost. High Tide was nice, though. 10-5 score, and now we go back into it. DRX buys up. What is this stack up around the A site?
Yeah, an interesting look here. The decoy invested as well. They want to push out that much is certain. You have the gate crash as well. That's why they do it. Right, so it puts the pressure on. Now if DRX wants to shake up the default, they're going to have to invest a lot because you heard and saw so many different pieces of utility. And DFM's banking on that. Now they're trying to erase mid, and then gate crash will be there to support B site. The problem is Medusa is all alone.
I'll handle this.
Looking for a pocket kill.
He does have a Toxic Screen just to help him for a time being. May getting a long-range shot from the back of Arches. But here comes Buzz, trying to initiate. Oh, spot out by Medusa. Foxy9 trying to recuperate from those losses, but the flash is just too darn good. A flawless round from DFM.
பரவாயில்லை. இந்த வாட்டி DFM தான்
The
win.
first pick from May is crucial. Cuts off
எனக்கு
the
தெரிஞ்சு அவங்க
second
ஏ
line
போலாம்.
from DRX, so, sure, it's Buzz still looking for information. He actually gets really good information. He hears the gate crash, spots May, and then he's able to eventually push all the way in so that Medusa gets pinged out away from his cyber cage as well, but at that point, you're like, well, May's there watching for me as well. Buzz not able to pick his targets quick enough, and Medusa turns around. And Stacks was not too happy about that round because they had a
ஆனா
plan
இந்த வாட்டி DRX அடிச்சுச்சுனா நெக்ஸ்ட் ரவுண்ட் அடிச்சிரும்.
at all, really.
Yeah, and you really gotta
ஏ
think
புஷ்
about
பண்றாங்க தெரியும் இந்த வாட்டி ஏ தான் போவாங்க.
DFM doing good, but was
மிட்
there
மிட்
something wrong on
இவரு
DRX side
ரெண்டு
too?
சைஃபரும்
Whatever it is, next round here it comes.
கீழ இருக்காங்க.
And it's gonna be an eco for DRX.
This change is good from DFM. This time, they're stacking A. They're sticking with it. They want to take the fight to him.
Oh.
DRX is not gonna give that fight too easily. What a flash, and then stacks the peek off of it. Another flash now, and Buzz continuing to strafe wider than ever, than make
3 versus 2.
Onto the next.
DRX
they're
and
one
Jacob
by one now.
plan பண்ணிடுவாங்க.
Will is not happy.
No, that's not why I'm not happy. That's crazy that flashback hits it. I was scared that he was going to. Sure, he's expecting it, but he's backing up
எங்க
to
ஏன்
stop when
சோவா
you're holding backwards
டீல்
and
பண்றாங்களா?
then break enough so that you can hit that clean shot.
ஏன்
Sure,
நீ
he missed
ஏலே
the first one,
பண்ணிருக்கலாமே.
but a good shot. I mean, Medusa had to rotate quickly. Could it have been cleaner? It always can if you're losing the round, but flashback.
Plan
What a
பண்றாங்க
player
சோவா.
for DRX to pick up, or at least promote.
சோவா
That's why he's here. Spike plant secure now for DRX.
DRX தான் win.
It's just gonna be Anthem trying to do whatever he can. They have enough to buy up in the next round, so
You know, a little bit of a beat coming out.
சேவ் தான் பண்ணுவான்னு
Buzz.
நினைக்கிறேன். DRX தான் win.
A little bit of a trying to get the chant going, perhaps, in the crowd. But it's going to be a save. I mean, you have to. Still only up to 11. Still doable. Still can buy up for DFM.
yeah. And so far, I mean,
எங்க ப்ரோ இங்க இருக்கு.
DRX
பிளான் பண்ணியாச்சு ப்ரோ அங்க.
can always recover that quickly.
ஆக்சுவலி எனக்கு புரியல எனக்கு நம்ம விளையாடுமா நிறைய பேர் ரைனா வச்சு விளையாடுறாங்க.
Sometimes it's just
டோர்னமெண்ட்ல யாருமே ரைனாவை எடுக்கவே மாட்றாங்க.
again with like pistols and then starting to peek in one by one.
நிறைய பேர் சோபா நியானுமே ரேர் தான். ஜெட் வைப்பர் அப்புறம் வந்துட்டு சைஃபர்.
I think this is more one of those cases of DFM still focused on what they were planning to do across multiple rounds, right? Because you pushed out,
ஹார்வர் நிறைய பேர் விளையாடுறாங்க.
pushed out, you put pressure, then you rotate.
இது எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு இந்த கொஞ்சம் பேர்ல விளையாடுறாங்க.
You think you should win.
இந்த மேட்ச் வின் ஆயிட்டாங்கன்னா அவ்வளவுதான் நெக்ஸ்ட் ஃபைனல் ரவுண்ட் முடிஞ்சு.
Unfortunately, it was the first pick with a sheriff.
இந்த தெரிஞ்சு இன்னும் 10 மினிட்ஸ்ல முடிஞ்சிடும்.
So just again, I mean,
எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு இந்த வாட்டி DRX கொஞ்சம் பொறுமையா விளையாடுவாங்க. மிட்ல இருந்து ஏ புஷ் பண்றாங்க. மிட் இல்ல சாரி. ஏ பக்கத்துல இது மிட். ஆமா.
It does put DRX up at the cusp of match point.
ஏறலாம். இவங்க ஏறனா இப்ப போடலாம்.
It's so risky because if you go down, the round is instantly over. The double controllers stacked together.
Oh, they're kind of lined up for each other too. I thought like if Crossfire might be better, but now it's going to have to be that Cove to bail them out. May able to get a good shot on towards mid though, so that's not too bad.
4 versus 4.
Halls has been compromised, and it's just a bit more pressure. Now they're thinking about it, but there is that gate crash sound too. Foxy9 dives right in off of that, and there is space created.
Seth's just trying to make sure not everyone can come through. He's trying to tie them up as
Plan
Medusa already
DRX.
near the entrance of cave.
Mako sees.
ஜெயிச்சிருவாங்க. 4 versus 4 ஏறவே மாட்டாங்க. ஏறு.
Start the attack.
Just to soften up the blow, artillery comes
Dimensional
in.
drift.
Flashes through. Seth's able to get the first shot
3
on
versus 3.
9, but Buzz though trades right back.
ஜெயிச்சிருவாங்க. DFM ஜெயிச்சிருவாங்க.
Just wanting to land that முடிஞ்சு. Does buy a bit of time, but Medusa, like you mentioned, Will,
super gameplay.
A great use of dimensional drift, and Medusa just does not show himself because at some point, Mako's gonna have to turn around because you want to figure out how far is that Yoru coming. And I love the patience coming in with the blind side as well. He doesn't use it immediately. They're able to get the first pick. And then he sends the decoy out. A great bait out around the pyramid.
it's good stuff coming out from DFM. I mean, a lot tighter teamwork than before. What you're talking about with Medusa not showing himself too
The match கண்டிடி like இந்த ரவுண்ட் சொல்ல இந்த கம்ப்ளீட் மேட்ச்ல DFM ஜெயிச்சிட்டாங்கன்னா நெக்ஸ்ட் மேட்ச் இருக்கு பயங்கரமா இருக்கும்.
As the rounds go on, DRX's ultimates start to build up as well.
இங்க 7 இருந்து போறாங்க.
Yeah, surely DRX has a plan to use everything here. I mean, look at the Cypher utility as well. It's just trying to cover their back all the way around.
Oh boy. Flash plays take down flashback though. But here comes Foxy9 with the updraft.
Spotted. Yep, that's Sandra's Fury and
Hey!
point as well.
Sama.
Allows for Foxy just to drift up clearly.
இந்த வாட்டி அடிச்சிட்டாங்க DRX அடிச்சிட்டாங்க. முடிஞ்சு இதுதான் ஜெட்டோட ஒரு சூப்பர் இது எபிலிட்டி அப்படியே நிக்கும்.
I mean, I'm all
நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ற
for
வரைக்கும்.
flanks if they work, but the thing is if that's your game plan, the backup's always going to be late, which means you should either really
பண்ணியாச்சு நீ தான்
as
போணும்.
much as you can and at least not take these somewhat broken fights. Problem being, Breeze
ஹோல்ட் பண்ணி
so
ஆடுறாங்க பாருங்க.
huge, you don't
நம்மளா
want to
தான்
give
ரஷ்
it all
பண்ணுவோம்.
for free. So you have to fight at some point, right? You don't want to give all the way up through yellow, all the way up through bridge. And DRX is abusing that against CFM right now. They know that the back was not going to
final
be
round.
It never was.
DRX win guys.
That's one of those
DRX
pain
win.
points at the very least. DFM still, I mean, a good test for the first debut match that they have this year in Kickoff.
Final match,
now
final
they can
round.
see like these are some of the improvements that we
Sorry,
still need to
final
make
match.
and whatnot.
Second round
But on the other hand, DRX, I mean, we can't stop saying good things about them.
Well, it's an interesting match between these two teams because obviously DFM definitely looks more improved than the latter half of their run last year in VCT Pacific 2023. But DRX also coming in with changes on the roster. So the question is still going to remain in a lot of teams' minds as they're trying to assess their potential opponents of, well, is this the case of DRX really coming back to compete for that first place in Pacific and try to take it back away from Paper Rex? Or is it just kind of that half and half of, okay, like DRX is looking okay, there's some rough spots? Because honestly, a lot of it is also just off of really good aim and diligence, right? Just good trades, good, holding angles. Not any much of a crazy strat coming out. I mean, sure, the Yoru, not a comp we've seen from them on Breeze, but not cooking up anything entirely new. So I don't know if they're quite challenged to that limit where we can really get a gauge of, all right, are they there to try to challenge Paper Race, or are they really here to see we're taking it back?
Of course, you would love to see.
Yeah, and that would change your look on DFM as well, right? Because if it's the latter, it's like, okay, well, DFM put up a really good fight then. But if it's the former, it's okay. DFM seems to have improved. We'll have to wait and see from other matches as well.
Final match, final round, final match.
Think a lot about what is going on in the match right now as Neth peeks out and takes down Flashback. No more lurks available for DRX. Trying to find that opening into that A split. However, you've got Cess.
Yeah, he's just stationed here, but he has backup this time. They're already here. A double angle available. Foxy9 with a quick flick with the operator. Cleans up one.
Despite the good adjustments for DFM, long-range duels, and Foxy9
DFM அடிச்சிரும் இந்த match. Next match
over towards yellow or back towards the back of pyramids. It's gonna be Medusa that falls next. The Viper's Pit though, and Cess tries to defend it with his life. Able to do it for the time being up against Foxy, but here comes the dimensional drift.
I don't think he saw him.
Oh no.
He's still looking for him.
Oh, but he's spaced a little bit early. Mako gets the timing off of
2 versus 2.
And now Buzz back in the scene.
Plan பண்ணியாச்சு. Diffuse பண்ணனும்.
You still got that Harness Free on Anthem though.
இன்னும் 25 seconds தான் இருக்கு.
To try to wait. Unfortunately, Neth not in a great position. Reckoning was used as well way too early to try
Yoru,
to keep
Viper,
alive.
Sofa.
Waiting for a clear advantage before they push up front. Tapped it. Anthem goes in for the commitment. Mako trying not to get spotted, but the beam does reveal his position. Now sticks to plan as he runs out of time.
Wait, சொல்ல DFM தெரியும் அடுத்த ரவுண்டா.
An 8th win.
A lot used.
வெறித்தனம்.
Got the Pit, Reckoning, and Hunter's Fury away from DFM. So honestly, a huge investment, but you'll take whatever you can get to try to claw into overtime. That first flick from Foxy9 really allowed the possibility, because otherwise I thought DFM's setup this time was good. The early backup, you still had a crossfire coming in from Medusa and May, and that keeps Cess able to just focus on that A main cave entrance.
That was A little bit interesting though with the corner that he played and Buzz not being able to see him.
La B. DRX plan.
Next round, DRX.
Yo, koncha plan panni aadu.
Not lurking this time though. Looking to make something happen towards B.
Yeah, because if they can get in, if they can get the plant, that's the pit. Oh, way too wide of a swing away for the anti-flash.
What a play from Fox.
3 versus 3.
However, off of it, the follow-up just instantly traded by May. Now on to the next one. It's Flashback who tries to make things happen.
Mudistaga. Win. DRX win.
The pit is going
Plan to money.
It's a 1v2, but no, he's still waiting. Oh, they spot him first.
Just want to ensure that, okay, he is coming from arches.
Well, that and of course the drone as well, right? Make sure that the drone gets the spot all the way to the timer, so good patience.
Win. DRX win.
Wrap around the corners.
Mudinchu guys.
Viper's Pit is going to drop pretty soon now, and Stax has an angle. Recon up as well.
Oh, but he's running away so far. He gets one.
Oh.
All right, surely Stax plays for time. He knows how to make this happen.
Only 4 shots for Medusa.
Running out of time. Sticks it half, sticks it full.
Yeah,
Stax, stick it all the
bro.
way.
A headshot from Stax, 13 to 8. That Cyber Cage just could not stay up long enough. And it's going to be the second map and match win for DRX.
What a nail biter of a round.
Hey, DRX win, guys.
Brothers on DRX, they can definitely carry them over that finishing line. But still, I mean, the legs on these younger brothers too. Flashback, what a performance.
Yeah, I think Flashback definitely proved that you should keep your eyes on him. Obviously, just first match, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves in terms of like best of Korea, competing for best of the world, things like that. But enough to say, okay, there's reason for the hype. Everyone keep your eye on this guy, topping the scoreboard in the server. In front of all of his veterans, but also all of DFM as well. On the flip side, I think May, for those who never really got to follow his career in Japan, he had a lot of shots and the fair number of kills that proved why he's one of the rising stars for Japanese Valorant, but not enough. And to me, the big thing is a little bit more variance from the calls, right? A little bit more variance, adapting to your opponents rather than just your own game plan. But there's a decent start here for DFM.
It is nice to see some adaptations coming through as well. It's just got to be a little bit quicker, a little bit tighter. But apart from that, the sharpshooting is here, and it's such an aggressive day of Valorant. 2-0s all across the board. But then again, I mean, DRX, DFM, just the performance that we needed to close out the day.
Man, this means it's going to be DRX versus Talon as well in the winner's bracket for this group, trying to get into that playoff spot in Phase 3. And the way Governor and Talon, all of Talon, were playing today, I'm going to be honest, I think it's going to be a tough match for DRX.
I mean, wouldn't that be such a fun test, though? DRX, not just for DRX, for Talon as well. I mean, that Neon play, how is it going to fare against this composition?
I don't know. DRX now has at least one game of tape against that Talon, so we'll see if it's enough for that coaching staff to come prepared. It's going to be a tough one, but I think it's going to be an exciting one. Right?
Still, yeah, we got the interview with, I think that's Flashback up on stage, so we'll toss it over to Kyungmin.
Last match win goes to DRX. Congratulations, I'm here with Flashback. 안녕하세요. 축하드립니다.
안녕하세요.
네, 오늘 DRX 팬분들이 또 많이 와주셨는데 특히나 더 기쁠 것 같아요. Today we have a lot of DRX fans in the crowd, so you must be really happy for today's win, right?
아유, 보러 와주셔서 감사합니다. 정말 감사해요.
Thank you for coming to see our match. Thank you so much, fans. And for the next question, you newly joined the team. People say it's upgraded DRX. So how do you feel about today's match? And is there going to be any difference in DRX? 오늘 또 DRX에 새롭게 합류하면서 팬분들은 뭐 업그레이드된 DRX를 기대하고 있다라는 말도 있는데요. 오늘 경기를 통해서 그걸 증명하셨을까요? 어땠을까요?
첫 판에는 살짝 이게 떨려서 잘 못했던 것 같은데 두 번째 판은 그래도 나쁘지 않게 보여줬다 생각해서 기분 좋아요, 되게. 너무 좋아요.
좋습니다. Okay, for map 1, I was a bit nervous, so I didn't show my full performance. But at map 2, I got back and think I did well and showed and led to the team's win. 또 이제 다음으로 맵 2에서는 버즈의 요루를 봐서 좀 인상적이었고 또 탑 때 조합이 있었거든요. 맵 1과 2, DRX가 각각 어떻게 헤쳐나갈지에 대해서 좀 여쭤볼게요. At map 2, we saw Buzz with Yoru, which was unusual, and 2 duelist comps. So what can you say about how DRX went through map 1 and map 2?
앞으로 조금 더 공격적인 DRX가 되도록 노력하겠습니다.
오늘보다 더 공격적으로요?
네, 좀 더 공격적으로 해볼게요.
오늘도 충분히 공격적이셨는데 또 얼마나 더 잘하실지 기대가 됩니다.
감사합니다.
Yes, Flashback said we will be more aggressive, more attacking, and we'll be a better DRX. Thank you for the interview. 인터뷰 감사드립니다.
감사합니다.
승리 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
And we have one thing left. We have a present for the fans. 이거 팬분들을 위한 선물인데 여기 사인해 주시면 되거든요.
오케이.
You can write it wherever you want. 어디다 해도 돼요. 뭐 여기 배에다가 해도 되고. It's a cute little penguin. Yes, and fans who raise your hands or shouts. 손드는 팬분들 아니면 소리가 크다 하는 팬 쪽으로 승리의 요정 펭귄을 던져주시면 됩니다.
제가요?
네, 앞으로 아니면 뒤로.
소리 한번 듣겠습니다.
Wow, it's loud. Whoa! To the first row. 잘하셨어요.
감사합니다.
오늘 승리 다시 한번 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
네, 제가 이건 가져가도록 할게요. Okay, this was Flashback from DRX, and I'll pass to you, Dex. Bye. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Bye
Wait,
bye.
hold it.
Okay guys,
Oh my
bye
goodness,
guys.
the DRX
முடிஞ்சு
rookie
நம்ம
flashback
நாளைக்கு பார்ப்போம்.
honestly changed the fate for DFM in
Thank
this
you, guys.
second map. He
Have a
is
great day. Bye.
proving his mettle.